Welcome into Sportstime. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. Darian Newsom with us producing. We're Sportstime, and we're with you for the next 3 hours. A ton to get into today as it is FedEx St. Jude Championship Week here in the Mid-South. A lot of excitement about that. We'll talk a lot about that today. College football news. The first AP Top 25 poll came out earlier today. A lot of baseball over the weekends. We put a wrap on the Olympics over the weekend, so plenty to discuss over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon? How was your weekend?
It was great, Brian. It really was. I hope yours was well and Darian's as well. I hope everybody out there had a great weekend. And with a big week ahead of us, the latest FedEx St. Jude Championship are stopping Memphis that I ever can remember. Last year was about a week earlier, and that's where it's going back to next year because of the Olympics. It's a week later this year. And as the week gets going, it's going to get a little warmer, but it's summertime in Memphis. What do you think it was going to be in August? It would have been great last week. It'd be great today.
That's right.
If we can get some cloud cover, it'll be fine on Thursday through Sunday when the best players in the world, the best field in golf is right here in Memphis.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. And so I know it's been fun. It's fun every year when it happens, but getting the tweets for the notifications from the PGA Tour app of top 70 making their way to Memphis and seeing all the national golf reporters talking about the big week in Memphis, and just ever since this tournament has moved to being in the playoffs, just the bigger platform that it is on now. And so it's definitely cool. Getting the top 70 players here is awesome. And so I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of the week. We'll be there Wednesday through Friday, so we'll definitely have a blast. I know everyone will be out there, and especially over the weekend when we crown a winner. Yep,
that'll be late Sunday afternoon, and that'll be somebody. It could be a story like yesterday with Aaron Roth, somebody that like him that it could be life changing for somebody still to guarantee the status for the rest of this year in the BMW, next week at Castle Rock, and then to Atlanta to the Tour Championship. But it also could be what I think we're hoping for as probably as a community. We want Scotty versus Xander on Sunday.
Yes,
settle it on the Dogleg 18 at TPC Southwind next Sunday afternoon.
That'd be beautiful. I mean, the argument that has been for most of the year of who's having the better year, Scotty or Xander, and I think it was a real argument, and then Scotty goes out and wins at the Olympics, and there's a lot of people that say that puts him over the edge. There's some people that say that doesn't matter. It's Olympic golf. It's different. So yeah, that would be great if we could settle it all right here in Memphis. That would be great. Now, I just want to put this out there. Congratulations to Aaron Rai. I mean, good for him for winning over the weekend. Really cool scene. John Gowen can't lose if he tried.
He can't. He really can't. And remember, he didn't. When he made that pick, he was out on the course, busy working. Didn't even have a list in front of him. Just grabbed that name out of the thin blue sky and walks off with double.
Yeah, I mean,
and texted
incredible.
me last night thinking he had won quad. Come on, now, John. That's just in majors in Memphis.
What?
Never happy. He didn't like the Red X
I mean,
that you didn't have last week. And
it's always something with John. But no, good for him. I mean, that was just a complete shot in the dark. And yesterday afternoon when I flipped it over and I saw, oh my gosh, Rye's going to win this. And then I go, well, good thing none of us picked him. And I mean, oh no, somebody did. And it's the guy that we don't want winning. And he just keeps on winning. He's having a great year. But no,
did he win or did Greiserman give it to him?
That's a lot of weird stuff happening over the weekend at the on
takes
the
a couple to
doesn't
tango,
it? Yes, it definitely takes a couple, but no, it will be a lot of fun this week. I'm really excited to get out there Wednesday and throughout the rest of the week.
I am too, and we do have the AP football poll out.
Oh yeah,
been putting one out since 1936.
How about that? It's a great nugget. Should have been your big number today.
Oh, I've got one even better than that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so AP comes out today, and I don't think anybody thought Memphis would be in the top 25. We'll start there. But after seeing the coaches poll and Memphis being the top group of five, and now in the AP being the third top group of 5 behind Boise State and Liberty. I was a little surprised about that.
Yep, Boise 28th, Liberty 31, the Tigers 34, UTSA 37, Tulane 38, App State 39. The Memphis Tigers are playing in 2 leagues this year.
That's right.
They're playing in the AAC, and they're playing in that group I just listed. Boise, Liberty, Texas San Antonio, Tulane, and App State. They're playing in 2 leagues. They got to win the AAC, and they got to win the Group of 5 league.
I love that. That's a great visual for the upcoming season. I love that. It's beautiful.
And that's the only 2 leagues that matter.
That's right.
The week to week in AP poll or coaches poll or anybody's poll. Now, it will matter when the rankings by the College Football Playoff Committee's listed, but not as much as it will be for the Power 5 teams.
That's right. Because
that slot for the Group of 5, if you're that, you know you're in.
Exactly. You just got to be the top of that group that you just listed. And, if there's a couple surprise teams out there that go on a run and do something, throw them in there, that's fine. But as long as you're on top of that group, you've got a spot. So you don't have to worry about it. Just go and handle your business. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting all season long. That was a little surprising. In terms of top 25 here locally, 6, Ole Miss. Tennessee comes in at 15. The top 5 looks like this. Alabama at 5, Texas at 4, Oregon 3, Ohio State 2, and Georgia at number 1. I don't think any crazy big surprises from the AP poll today. I think we kind of got what
it
we
really
expected.
settled in, didn't it?
It sure did.
From the way too early,
Oh,
immediately after the College Football National Championship game last year, kind of through spring, through seeing what whenever the last portal or exit or entry can be, when the door's always swinging on that, through June, through the media days, now through camp starting, it all settled in. I don't know how anybody could be too upset. I don't know how Ole Miss could ever play the respect card. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
You've gotten it all year. Now you've got to go do it where it really matters.
That's right.
On the field to play, to be ahead of Notre Dame and Penn State and Michigan, and would not have been without winning that Peach Bowl. So next year, when you hear the collective group of miserables talking about the bowls don't matter, tell that to the Memphis Tigers, because they wouldn't have this momentum going into this year without the Liberty Bowl win, and tell it to Ole Miss that wouldn't have it if they hadn't won the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. That you know how important it is.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple places that kind of know where they're going to be if the season goes like they want it to and expect to. Well, Memphis with the Group of 5 slot.
Absolutely.
Notre Dame knows.
Oh yeah.
And they know the very best they can be is 5 and hosting in South Bend on December 21st. That could be in 6 inches of snow.
You're absolutely right. It could be. But then that's almost more pressure for Notre Dame is we've got to be perfect. I mean, we've got to have a great season. And even if we're perfect, even if we have a year good enough, 1 loss, 2 losses maybe, best we can be is number 5. And obviously, if you have 2 losses, even if you have 1, you're probably not going to be number 5. But I mean, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, you got to go out and play good football if you're Notre Dame to get into the college football playoffs.
You do have to do that. And what if you're Florida? We've talked all the offseason since the schedule really came out, for the SEC. We've talked about it. They will play this year teams ranked 1, 4, 6, 10, 13, 15, 19, and 20, which is tougher than Arkansas having to play 4, 6, 13, 15, 17, and 20.
Welcome to the new SEC. And nothing much has changed. You just add 2 more good teams to it, and
Florida gets the U and FSU, and Arkansas gets Oklahoma State.
Crazy, it's incredible. And then I'm trying to see if I can find it. I think I saved it. Yes, Mississippi State plays 6 ranked teams in its final 8 games, at least starting the season. Obviously, everything's going to change by then, but they've got the last 8 games: 4th ranked Texas, number 1 Georgia, number 20 Texas A&M, Arkansas, UMass, at number 15, Tennessee, number 11, Missouri, and at number 5, Ole Miss. Both Texas and Georgia are also on the road. So the end of their schedule is also brutal. I mean, it's SEC. We knew it was already brutal. Just gets even worse.
It does. It's very difficult, but that's the first AP poll of the year. We'll talk about it more. I bet about 5:30, and as the week unfolds, we'll talk about it with David Cobb, I'm sure.
Sure, absolutely. And then last thing I did want to put in there with the AP poll, about Colorado getting one vote from the AP voters. They come in with one, and then Nebraska, team maybe to look out for as one of those could get you teams. They get 16 votes in the AP poll. So they're outside. But, Nebraska, with what they've been through and kind of this turnaround, maybe they can get something going this year. We'll have a true freshman back there at quarterback, highly recruited player. But, yeah, so a fun weekend outside of that. Olympics wrapped up. And, Brett, we were talking that game against Serbia of Steph Curry having the marquee game, the stamp of excellence game against Serbia. And then he comes out against France and just does it again and knocking down shots at the end that are just unworldly shots. I mean, I don't even know how half of those shots fell. He was incredible against France on Saturday.
It was guys that needed nothing else to bolster resumes, nothing else. I mean, the basketball lives for all those guys mostly made, especially for Steph Curry, KD, and LeBron James. But they added signature moments to their reputation, to their resumes that will never be forgotten. At a Friday and Sunday.
Not at all. And it was incredible to watch. That game on Saturday was incredible, and I saw drew 19.5 million viewers, which was
on a Saturday
incredible.
Afternoon.
No, yeah, middle of the day, 2:30 in the afternoon. Summertime. Incredible to draw that many. And did you see?
And almost 13,000 in attendance.
That's right, Darren.
Wow.
And I was wrong. I thought it was going to play at the larger venue, the 28,000, kind of modified for, and it didn't. And I think the smaller one made it more hostile.
Yeah, it certainly did.
I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but. No, I was wrong on Friday about where they would play.
Yeah, and it was definitely the French faithful came out and were definitely giving it to Team USA. But I saw this after the game was over. The French broadcast. Did you see the clips from the French broadcast with the subtitles at the bottom? Because obviously I don't know French. I took French for 2 years in high school. I don't know a lick of it. But in French, the commentary. In English, this is what they said at the end when Steph Curry was just going incredible. The devil named Curry is hurting us. That was a quote in French, of course, but I'm saying it in English. And then twice we got a how is this possible? Especially when Steph hit that fadeaway, kind of just where he just launched it up in the air and it somehow connected. And they go, c'est possible! And I was like, oh man, this is electric. So yeah, it was fun.
I bet it was. How did we all collectively take foreign languages, high school and college, at minimum passing grades, in a lot of cases good grades, and we can't count to 6 in any of them?
That's a great question, Brett. I'm sure I've told you my story.
I almost asked that about English. How come we can't speak English any better than we do?
That's a good question. The middle school I went to, Brett, offered Spanish in 8th grade, and so I took it, and I did very well in it. And so my teacher at the end of the year was like, next year you should do Spanish 2 honors. And I was like, okay, cool. So I signed up for Spanish 2 honors. And at the high school I went to, it was a different high school. And the day before school, they had where you could go in and find your classes and meet your teachers or whatever. So we get to the Spanish class, and my buddy's dad that I was with, he's like, all right, go in there and introduce yourself to your teacher. And I already took Spanish 1, and I believe it was an honors class in 8th grade. So I walk in, and she goes, I forget how to say what's your name, but she says, what's your name in Spanish? I'm like, I don't know. And she asked it again in Spanish. I was like, you got me. And then
she said, how'd you pass?
Well, so she didn't know who I was, so she asked me what my name was in English. I told her, Brian Dacus. And she goes, okay, so she's looking through her roster. She's going through, flipping pages, and I see her point. She goes, oh, there's got to be a mistake. And I go, mistake? What happened? She goes, you're on my Spanish 2 honors roll. go, no mistake there. That's the class I'm in. Needless to say, I was in there for like 6 weeks, had a 30, got kicked out, ended up taking French. Then in college, went back to Spanish for whatever reason after taking 2 years of French. So yes, no, foreign language has never been kind to me.
Nothing humbles you like that 30F, right?
That's right. And getting sent to the principal's office and them telling you, you gotta get out of this class. But yeah, so foreign language was never really my cup of tea. But it was a fun Olympics last night. I didn't get to see. Did y'all watch much of the closing ceremonies? I didn't get to see.
Yeah, I broadcasted.
Oh,
yes.
well, I didn't think about that.
It was a must watch.
Yes.
But it was actually pretty good.
I saw clips. Red Hot Chili Peppers. I actually really enjoy Red Hot Chili Peppers. So that was cool seeing them.
Did they do Under the Bridge?
I didn't see Under the Bridge.
No, the
Californication?
I don't know what song they did now that I think about it. I only saw a clip of it, and I can't remember exactly what they did.
Now,
Maybe it was Californication.
Was that kind of a promotion for Los Angeles 2028?
So they did the handoff from Paris to
I was getting ready to say,
LA.
I don't really know the direct linkage to Red Hot Chili Peppers and Paris.
Yes, I'm
saying there's not one. I'm just saying I don't know it.
Well, I'm sure there is a connection somewhere. So, Darren, correct me if I'm wrong. So, like, the first half of it was like French wrapping it up, and then we did a Tom Cruise handoff where he
Mission Impossible,
did
baby.
Mission Impossible, and like rode a motorcycle onto a plane, and then like jumped out of the plane in L.A. or whatever. And then we were in L.A. and like Red Hot Chili Peppers performed, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg performed. I think Billie Eilish, who's very popular now with the younger folk, she performed. So it was like good times, what I heard.
And I didn't know that they actually passed the flag to you. So I guess we're now the flag bearers.
All right.
The world knows it's in our hand now.
How about that?
I wonder if it'll go up at the Coliseum in any type of ceremony.
Yeah,
I would assume they're bringing that back, and it's go time.
Hosted in 32 and 84.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. So yeah, it was definitely a good weekend. We'll talk more Olympics a little bit later in the show. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. At 3:30, Joe Tomic, the executive director of the FedEx St. Jude Championship, will join us. It's game week for them at the FedEx St. Jude Championship, so we'll talk to him before everything kicks off down at Southwind this week. 3:45, we'll get back into the Olympics. A really, really fun weekend watching the USA as they wrap that up in Paris and then handed it off to LA. So we'll give our final thoughts on what happened in Paris. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports will join us, talk some college football and college basketball. At 4:30, we'll talk the NFL's week 1 of the preseason is in the books, and some guys look really good out there in week 1. Now, it's still preseason, so I don't know how much you can take from it, but it was fun watching some NFL football over the weekend. 4:45, we get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Dan Reardon from KMOX Sports. He's their golf reporter over there. He'll join us. We'll talk about the year in golf. Also talk about this week in Memphis. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. It's time for the world's biggest spa sale going on now at Family Leisure. Save thousands on in-stock hot tubs ready for delivery. Spa starting at $28.99. Cold plunges starting at $3,999. Swim spas starting at $17,499. Special financing is available and huge discounts on all in-stock above-ground pools too. All patio furniture, it's priced to move. So head over to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Darian Newsom, we're Sports Time. We're with you until 6 o'clock, and we would love for you to join us at the Sissy's Log Cabin text or talk line. That's 901-360-8255. And all our guests will appear on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at that same number, 901-360-8255. As always, from our Family Leisure Studios. And we will even be in those when we're out at TPC Southwind on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with Sports Time and with all the shows from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Lexus of Memphis right now offering the Golden Opportunity Summer Sales Event. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. And you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day has got to be NFL preseason week 1. It had most of my attention over the weekend and was a lot of fun just seeing these teams out there, seeing those logos. I don't care if I'm watching the first string, second string, third string, fourth string. It's NFL football, and I think the big thing to watch over the weekend was the new kickoffs. How would teams play it? How would kickers look? And you kind of saw early, a lot of kickers didn't really know what to do. Some kickers were kicking it out of the end zone.
The referees didn't know what to do.
The referees didn't know. The commentators didn't know what to do. The players didn't know what to do. It was a lot of learning this weekend. Some kickers were kicking it out of the end zone, which is a big no-no now in the NFL because now it gets spotted at the 30 if they do that. So it was a lot of learning. We did have a couple of big returns that made for fun kickoff returns, and we've seen a lack of that in the NFL. Kickoff returns for touchdowns or big returns on kickoffs. We saw a couple of those in week 1 of the preseason, which I think makes people feel good if they're fans of the new kickoff. But other than that, Caleb Williams looked really good in his first preseason start with the Bears. Some of the other rookies, Jaden Daniels, looked really good as well, talking about those rookie quarterbacks. So I thought it was a really, really good week 1. The only downside, for me at least, was watching the Cowboys and the Rams last night. For one thing, both those teams know that they have kickers because there was a lot of field goals to start the game. But then late, Stetson Bennett, even though he was a turnover machine early, he finds ways to win games, and he did it again for the Rams yesterday. But all in all, a really fun week of NFL preseason.
Do you know the league, the rank, the category Stetson Bennett is in college football? There have been only 3 quarterbacks ever to win national championships in back-to-back years. Tommy Frazier at Nebraska, A.J. McCarron at Alabama, and Stetson Bennett the 4th at Georgia.
That's incredible.
Is he appreciated? Now, the Georgia fans do, but college football,
not at all.
Historians, it hadn't been enough time either. Exactly. Hadn't been enough time to mythologize it. My top story, the Olympics end in a thrilling manner. And Paris crushed it, and NBC's presentation was absolutely spectacular.
Unbelievable.
And the most important thing, it ended safe. I know I'm sure they were glad to get everybody on a plane, a bus, or whatever you got to take, and get the heck out of Paris without any instance. And Paris was the biggest target for bad actors ever. Amen. Everybody was safe, and the USA showed out. And I love seeing so many people filled with pride and patriotism over how our team did at the Olympics. Kevin Durant summed it up pretty well. He said, quote, "A lot of BS happens in our country, but a lot of great things happen too." End of quote. Maybe not the most artful way to put it, but it hit right center of the bullseye, didn't it?
Absolutely did.
Not top story of the day.
And that's where I'm going with my not top story of the day, because it was so much fun watching the Olympics over the weekend. You had the U.S. women's soccer team win gold. You had the men's basketball team win gold. You had the women's basketball team win gold. So it was just a ton of fun. Me and my brother and one of my friends went up to Huey's to watch the gold medal game, and just kind of sitting there at 2:30 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, and having a lot of people at a Huey's all rooting for Team USA against France was really, really cool to see. We already talked about Steph Curry and what he did late in that game, just knocking down any and every 3 that he wanted to take. So it was fun beating France. It was fun to see those guys win gold. And like you said, Brett, the pride that they took in representing their country. It's always so fun because you always hear, and especially now where things politically, whatever it might be, it feels like maybe not everyone on the same page, and you always hear between the Olympics of, well, they don't care about playing for Team USA. None of these athletes care about representing the country. But then they get over there and they show all of these naysayers wrong that, well, yes, they want to represent their country. They take great pride in representing their country. And so seeing all of those athletes for Team USA throughout the Olympics representing this country so well and ultimately tying in gold but winning overall, it was really fun. I already missed the Olympics and they just ended yesterday. I wish we could have this every year. I know we can't, but it is fun whenever we can celebrate it.
It sure is fun, and celebrate we should. My not top story, 16 NFL games played out over the weekend from Thursday through yesterday afternoon. The first full week of NFL preseason games. Some were okay, some were pretty good. Mm-hmm. Most were a little bit difficult to watch, and here's the reason why. I said I would count up how many did. Mm-hmm. Out of 32 teams, guess how many quarterbacks appeared? Y'all care to take a stab at it?
Oh, I can't even guess.
Aim real high.
I was about to say a ton.
48.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah. Way more than that.
90.
Woo.
90 quarterbacks
80.
Appeared for 32 different teams. Only the Rams went the whole way with one, and that was the aforementioned Stetson Bennett, famous for being the SIG-Ep Rush chairman at Georgia, Stetson Bennett IV. You know he was a legacy member. And two-time national champion also at Georgia. The Colts used 5 quarterbacks. Sam Ellinger, who proclaimed years ago that Texas was back. They weren't quite back then. Jason Bean, Keaton Slovis, and 48-year-old Joe Flacco, and Anthony Richardson. They used 5. Rams only used 1. There was a couple of 4s. There were a lot of 3s. Very few 2s.
I believe it, Brett. Future Memphis Showboat, Jason Bean. That's one of the guys that the Showboats drafted in the draft. Absolutely.
Coming to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium near you.
I was scouting him a little bit on Saturday, or I guess yesterday, in that game for the Colts. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. And when we come back, we're talking about the FedEx St. Jude Championship with Joe Tomic.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa set. It's happening right now. You can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs that are ready to be delivered. Family Leisure has spas that start at just $28.99. You know those cold plunges? You can get one for yourself starting at $39.99. Or how about swim spas? They start at $17,499. Plus, Family Leisure has set up special financing just for this event. Have you been sitting on the fence about an above-ground pool? Get off that fence and get to Family Leisure to take advantage of huge discounts on all their in-stock above-ground pools. And if you need some patio furniture, it's all priced to move out now. It's not too late to have some
pretty sure
fun, courtesy of Family Leisure. But you better hurry up. The world's biggest spa sale might go on forever. Family Leisure. With and run at I-40. Family and fun come together.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red
red tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Jenkins Floors and More invite you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now, Joe Tomek, the Executive Director of the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Joe, thanks so much for joining us. No countdown needed today because it's officially here. It's game week for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. How's it feel? We're finally there.
Yeah, the clock is ringing and dinging in my head, and I feel every bit of it, trust me. But, man, it feels great. This is whirlwind of a day, as always. Everyone's running around like madness, but if you don't enjoy that, I'm in the wrong business then. So we're having fun.
That's right, Joe, and I like Matt Kuchar a lot, but he didn't make life easy on you last night, did he?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Luckily, it didn't dictate much in terms of who was in or out of the field, so we were able to get ahead of it. Although it wasn't official, we kind of knew what was coming.
Joe, the field is set. The 70 best players assembled in the world will be at TPC South really Wednesday through Sunday, and no cut, so they'll all be around on Sunday. And I think it was one of the, not grievances, but one thing that the players really wanted was smaller fields and no cut.
Yeah, and for me, as the tournament preview, it's great because especially people coming from out of town, kids that are in school, if you're a fan of Rory McIlroy, 2 years ago, you could have booked a Saturday or Sunday ticket and shown up, and he might not have been here. Mm-hmm. So now you can guarantee whether he's at the top of the leaderboard or the bottom of the leaderboard. To a fan, it doesn't matter. To a kid, they just want to see their star up in person. So we get to offer that chance no matter who you are, what day you can get out here, they're going to have a chance to see him.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I was just having that same conversation with a buddy yesterday who he's a kind of a casual golf fan. He was really excited. He was like, man, is Scotty going to be here? Is Rory? And I was like, yes, it's top 70. So I know a lot of people excited to get out there. And one thing I'm excited about, Joe, and I know we talked about it a little bit last time you joined us, but the new the Bluff that's coming to 14. Tell us more about what people can expect at that this week.
Man, I was out there this morning taking a final peek at it before the madness, and it's awesome. We're really excited. Yeah, the Bluff at 14, the 14th hole, long par 3 on the back nine. It is the last par 3 at TPC Southwind. From a competition standpoint, we truly think it is make or break. When you turn that corner and you cross the street to 14, 15, 16, that is where the tournament is won or lost. You're either setting yourself up for success or not. And so that's exciting in its own right. But it's also, 14 is such a cool hole. It's got a ton of shade out there with a lot of trees. There's some natural slopes all around the property. So we took advantage of all of that and really are building up the seating options under the trees so there's a nice breeze coming off the lake. And then also added structures where there wasn't some seating or good views to help people out. But, like you said, goal is get some people out there, let people know that you can have fun at a golf tournament. You can, cheer when appropriate, get really loud when there's a birdie because on 14, they need to earn that birdie because it's a tough one. Yeah. So we're excited to see what's going on out there.
Joe, I don't know this. I'm assuming, and I know you can get a lot of trouble in doing this, kind of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the galleries, the patrons, the crowds, they kind of take care of themselves. Friday, a lot of bosses and a lot of people see you at noon. Is Thursday the day that if people wanted to go that's never been, that's an ideal day that they could really maybe get up close and personal a little more than the other days? Is Thursday kind of the high emphasis sell more tickets day?
I'd say any day is a good opportunity. That's the beauty of golf. But, sneakily, I'd say Wednesday, if you can make it out, you don't have work or school or whatever, A, it's the lowest price ticket. It's only about $30, $35 or something. B, it's the Pro-Am, so it's not competition day yet. But the guys are out there. You're getting to see them hit balls. You're getting to see how meticulous they are at practicing. But they're also a little more laid back. Even though they're preparing for the playoffs, a really tough stretch of golf, they're more willing to give a high five or maybe sign an autograph on their way off the property. And I think that's a pretty cool experience for someone who might not have been here before.
Yeah. There was a story earlier this morning in the Commercial Appeal by our buddy Jason Munns that I love, kind of setting up the weekend that could be with Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele and the years that both those guys have had, and kind of this debate that has started over the last couple of weeks of, well, who's had the better year when you look at both of those guys. You mentioned top 70 players, but when you look at those two guys, what have you seen from them this season, and what could it be like if we saw that come down on Sunday of those two guys?
Ryder Cup style, match play style.
Yeah, it could be, and that would be a lot of fun. Not that I have a vote. It's hard to argue with Scotty's year, and that's no knock on Xander. He's had an incredible year, but I mean, Scotty has pulled a head of the field in terms of his skill level, his ability to close, and his ability to win the big events. Now, Xander's always had that talent, and he finally got the monkey off his back, getting a major, and you've seen that build momentum for him and his ability to now win some other events as we've gone through the rest of the season. I still think there's a case to be made for either of them. I think whoever comes into the playoffs and maybe sneaks in an event win in the first two and then takes home the cup, I think that should solidify it one way or the other. But, it's hard to argue the talent that both of them are showing this year.
Joe, I fully respect that these guys are all really independent contractors, but they also play for the PGA Tour that is heavily, heavily promoted and endorsed and supported and advertised by FedEx right here in Memphis, Tennessee, and the beneficiary, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We really check every box you can think of for a perfect event. With that, have you asked, would you reach out to agents, to the players themselves? Hey, Scotty, could you bring that green jacket? Xander, could you bring the Wanamaker trophy? Could we get a picture with the gold medal? For your sponsors, for all the people that are so good to you, especially FedEx with the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Yeah, we allow the guys to do what they're going to do, obviously, and respect them for wanting to show up and focus on this week's. And
I left out the claret jug. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
You're good. But Xander showed up, I guess it would have been 4 years ago, or 2 years ago. What would have been 4 years ago with the gold medal in his pocket. So I wouldn't be totally surprised if Scotty's walking around with a little larger coin, maybe a big ball marker this time around. But, the guys, it's interesting. They're really proud of their accomplishments, and it's good to see them. But, man, when they show up, they are fierce competitors, and they are not satisfied. They want the next one. They want the bigger one. They want the one they haven't gotten yet. And I think that's what drives the competition so much is they're not resting on their laurels. They are ready to go get the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joe, one thing I do love every single year out at this tournament is that relationship with St. Jude and seeing those St. Jude kids out there. And this year, it's actually been really cool. One of my buddies, his son is the FedEx Purple Eagle playing St. Jude child this year. And so, Micah, yes. And so I've been able to kind of, from him, hear about how that works behind the scenes. And he's been sending me pictures and stuff of when they moved the plane and everything. Just talk about that relationship and to be able to have some of those kids from St. Jude out there every year.
Yeah, it's incredible. I always put such a big emphasis on the fact to remind people this is the only event on the PGA Tour whose charitable partner is in the tournament name. Mm-hmm. FedEx is our title sponsor. And because of how important the mission is and how we make this bigger than just a golf tournament, they have the name with St. Jude in it. And what that does for us is really the financial contribution we're able to make at the end of the tournament to St. Jude is incredible. Last year it was $6.3 million, taking us over $72 million in our partnership. But what putting them in the event name does is add so much global exposure to the mission that St. Jude is on, and that's what's so powerful. Seeing the players wearing the artwork on their hats and their shoes and their gloves, having the caddies wear the artwork on their bibs, and, you know, like you said, seeing the patients out here interacting, whether it's Micah at the Purple Eagle and that incredible ceremony on Wednesday, or the pin flag holders on Sunday as the players are coming off 18, it's such a good reminder that this is so much more than just a golf tournament.
Boy, Joe, you really have. You have understood us from day one and gotten the meaning of this event. That was a strong testimonial. Tell us about how play will happen. We got Wednesday with the Pro-Am, and then on Thursday it's for keeps. How will Thursday and Friday and into the weekend, how will the format of play be?
Yeah, so for us, weather dependent, knock on wood, everything is looking pretty good for the next week, but we'll do everyone off the first tee. So twosomes off the first tee, starting about 7:30, depending on the day, through 1 p.m. And so everyone's going off the front, and you'll get a good chance to see everyone throughout the day. Thursday, Friday, they rank them by points. It's a little sporadic, so it's not necessarily the first group is directly after the second group and so on and so forth. But you'll see 1 and 2 paired together, 3 and 4 paired together, 5 and 6. And then while there's no cut, they will reorganize it after the second round, and it'll go on the scoreboard of who's paired together.
And, Joe, before we let you go, where can people get last-minute tickets for this weekend? And then also, what time do gates open? What do people need to know about getting down there?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Gates open every day at 7 a.m. Again, weather-dependent, but that's the plan going forward, and we're going to stick to it. Plenty of options for getting here, whether that's rideshare. There's general parking admissions still available online. We always encourage people to get out here as much as you can. Tickets, FedExChampionship.com. Get on there early, buy them beforehand. You can buy them at the gate, but I encourage you to get on beforehand. Every day still has availability, and so whatever day works best with your schedules, or maybe you had a great time on Thursday and want to come back Sunday, you can do that.
There's no such thing as a sellout, is it, Joe? We'll make room for you.
We'll find a spot for everyone out here.
That's right. Well, Joe, I know it's going to be a fun week. We're looking forward to being out there later this weekend. And thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it as always.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe Tomek joining us from the FedEx St. Jude Championship to talk about this weekend. He said something in there, Brett. He talked about, you asked a great question of kind of best day to get out there and get close to those golfers. And he said Wednesday is the best day to get out there.
It's a good one.
They're laid back. They're practicing. You can see kind of how they go about their practice rounds. Like I said, they're a little more laid back than they will be Thursday through Sunday. And we're going to be giving away some tickets to Wednesday out there. So what do we want to do? Second caller for Wednesday, we're going to give away 2 tickets right now for Wednesday's Pro-Am. If you want them, give a call to the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line, 901-360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. If you want to get out there on Wednesday and see the best golfers in the world, Brett.
You sure can, and really, the answer really is every day. On Wednesday, a lot more relaxed.
Yes.
On Thursday, well, it's the first round. It's not as crowded as kind of Friday afternoon gets. And then with every round, it builds to them having to be in prime form, and somebody going for that check and that status that victory would bring them. So anybody that wants to go on Wednesday, again, Sissy's Log Cabin guest our talk and text line 901-360-8255. Hit us up right now, and you'll be able to enjoy Wednesday.
Yeah, no, definitely a perfect day to get out there and see some of these great golfers. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, it was a busy weekend in Paris at the Olympics. We'll talk about everything that went down over the weekend before the closing ceremonies. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, Play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 95 FM.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, and great news. Good news. While leaning over the fence, your neighbor said you could save money bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. Your neighbor leaned over a little too much and broke your fence. Dumb news. Somehow fence wood is more expensive than wood. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and to plant really tall shrubs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. You'll find the lowest rates on Tuesday through Thursday afternoons. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy of the FedEx St. Jude Championship. August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama as 70 players arrive in Memphis and only 50 move on. Tickets are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Red Staff Sports Ruby and Brian Dinkins.
Brett, I want to start this segment by apologizing to you. I want to apologize to Darian. I want to apologize to the listeners because I did not do my job today. And for that, I'm very sorry. Because I said a while ago that I was going to put together a list, a power rankings, if you would, of my Olympic sports. And I did not do that. So I'm very sorry.
I was ready for it.
About that. Yes.
I'd waited the whole weekend for it.
I apologize.
Yeah, how are we going to get through?
Just know water polo was very high on the list, and so was...
Do you realize that breakdancing right now is not a 2028 sport?
Is everyone happy about that, or is it just the people I see on social media?
Right now, boxing is not because of a IOC, IBA issue.
Yeah, I saw that, and I did not know about this issue we had until I looked a little bit more.
I didn't know they were sore at each other.
Had no idea. Don't know what they are upset about, but hey, we need to get that resolved. I like boxing at the Olympics.
I think boxing's been in every Olympics since 1900.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if we didn't have it.
I mean, wouldn't boxing be the original sport of anybody? I mean,
feels like it.
Any civilized and uncivilized group ever?
I mean, it'd feel like it.
I mean, put your dukes
along
up.
with
Been going back
judo
to
and fencing.
Right, yes.
I mean, put your dukes up. It's been going back 10,000 years.
Any fighting sport, it feels like, would be very high on the first sports
Cricket
ever.
will be formally recognized in 2028 in Los Angeles, and lacrosse.
That's right. So the 5 sports added: flag football, cricket, squash. Big squash guy there, Brett?
No, and I don't like eating it either.
And you know what, Brett? Same. Baseball, softball, and lacrosse. So I'm excited about. I don't really know anything about the game of squash, but I am excited about the other 4
I
sports.
wouldn't eat squash if I was starving to death.
You know, I don't think I would either. I don't.
It makes 3 of us.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Big pass.
I'll pass on that one for sure. But the sport I can maybe get into. I don't know. Need to watch it first.
And somebody said, "Oh, you need to put it on the grill." I go, "Let me tell you what I on the grill: hamburger meat, hot dogs, steak. I don't need squash off the grill.
Don't want to grill squash. Something about that just does not feel right to me. Best moment for you watching the Olympics?
I hate to be like this, and I said pre-Olympics that I really wanted to expand and not just fall in to golf and tennis, but the Sunday of the golf and the Saturday of the basketball finals.
So good.
It's just really hard to beat. I enjoyed it all, though. I did. It was a lot of fun. Now, a lot of these sports, again, 2 weeks every 4 years, and that's about enough for me. But some, I think out of these Olympics, will have more staying power. One for the future that will. We know softball's on the way. It's coming as a revenue sport, not in a lot of places around college sports, but it's some. And that's a million miles from where it was. The Olympics will only help.
You're absolutely right. No, I'm really excited about softball being added because I think it's such a fun sport to watch. I love watching it in the spring, and you're right. It's only growing, and for it to be on the big stage like the Olympics, I think that is massive for that. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for some softball.
What sport needs help in the next 4 years? And mine is boxing.
Boxing's a good one. Boxing is a really, really good one. I'll be honest, Brad.
I don't know how boxing has fallen out of such disfavor other than the trickle-down effect from professional boxing, I think, has hurt. But it used to really be bottom up with Olympic boxing, with those great teams all through the 70s and even 84 and 88 in Los Angeles and Seoul. But the professional sport of boxing has really been in decline.
No, you're right, and that is the answer, Brett, because I'll be honest, throughout the Olympics, I knew the boxing was going on. I wanted to watch the boxing, and a lot of times because of the time difference, they would start the boxing matches at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was done by 7 o'clock in the morning, but it never felt like you saw a replay on television.
It didn't feel big at all. I hate to do that to those participants.
But you're absolutely right. And even on Gold Zone, I talked so much about how much I loved Gold Zone, the job they did. Peacock, NBC, the whole 9 yards did an unbelievable job. And with Gold Zone, even with Gold Zone, I don't remember a second of them showing boxing. So you're right. Boxing's the answer. It needs some help. And this little feud we've got going on that for right now has it out.
They're always feuding.
That's the worst thing.
The alphabet soup of it, with all the organizations and everything, there's never been anywhere close to a same page aspect to the entire world of boxing. It really never has been.
Right.
It was always kind of a lovable mess.
Yes.
Now, all these people I'm getting ready to cite as an example, they would have made it just fine with or without the Olympics, with ever going there. But it sure didn't hurt the sport of boxing that out of the Olympics came Smoking Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali. You get into the 70s with Sugar Ray Leonard, the Spinks brothers, and many, many others. And then the international, not just guys that made it as professional in the 12, 15 round types, but Teofilo Stevenson from Cuba, the great boxer that he was, and boxing was really it was really diminished this Olympics.
Yeah, no, it was, and like I said, I mean, it never felt like you caught any of it, and which is a shame. And so I hope it's back in 2028. I expect that it's going to be back in 2028.
Brian, tell me this among your generation. Okay. Tell me how, and maybe not just yours. And I would love people's take with this at 901-360-8255 at the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. Boxing has fallen out of disfavor from the violence in it, from the injury aspect to it. How did that happen? But MMA goes to the moon in popularity.
No, that's a great question. I did not think you were going that way with that question because I thought you were going to ask about boxing not being popular anymore and violence and all that. I was going to say, well, UFC feels like it's at an all-time high with viewership. And
I'll get
and
people tell me I just can't watch boxing anymore, and I will tell you it's some professional boxing, Olympic boxing, 3 rounds, the protection over their heads,
sure.
the gloves being a little more safety conscious. I can watch it a lot more than the pros. There's professional boxing that I can't watch
sure.
watching people wail on each other like that,
sure.
but I can't watch MMA either.
Right. Well,
now, I know before somebody texts, what about football? Well, a lot of gear and a lot of safety measures
right.
being taken. There's risk in everything.
Definitely risk in everything. But you're right. I don't really know, but you're right. UFC, MMA is very popular, and I mean,
boxing's fall out of favor.
It has, and what's interesting, Brett, is the thing that I always hear and the thing I always say, because I'm not a guy that's going to watch boxing. Saturday night on this channel we have boxing, I'm going to watch it. But I have 3 or 4 boxers that if they're fighting, I'm going to watch it. But on the other hand, with UFC, if you're a good UFC fighter, you're going to be on a pay-per-view, and those are running $60 to $80 for the card that lasts a couple hours, and there are so many people that will go out and buy that, and they'll buy it like every single time they
and
have
you
a
can
pay-per-view.
literally hit a man when he's down.
Literally. And so, and
not another sport out there that you can do that in.
No, and I can't. The pay-per-view, I can't go out there and buy a $60, $80 pay-per-view for UFC. But yes, it is extremely popular, and it feels like it's only growing.
Hey guys, caller has a question for you both.
What's up?
Caller says, do you think we missed the Russians competition-wise from the Olympics?
Great question.
Really
yes.
good question.
Yes,
Yeah.
we missed the Cold War battles. Yeah. Well, and Cuba. I mentioned Philo Stevenson, which they were really Russia, Soviet Union.
No, that's a really good call and a really
especially
good question.
Especially in the gymnastics aspect, I believe. Sure. I believe the gymnastics aspect.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Romania. With we missed the
rivalries,
communist countries,
absolutely. The ones that it's not hard to hate, and so you can
you could really kind of gin up the jingoism. You really could.
Absolutely. No, I'm definitely with you. That was thank you for the call. That was definitely a good observation. But we do need to wrap up this hour and get to a break. And when we come back, talking a whole lot of college football, the AP Top 25. First poll of the year released earlier today. A lot of other news out of the world of college football. David Cobb, he joins us next to talk a lot of college football, a little bit of college basketball. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
In all the wrong places, try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's, not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
The best golfers on the PGA Tour are coming to Memphis to kick off the FedEx Cup playoffs at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news. Our coverage from TPC Southwind and Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Also sponsored by Sissy's Log Cabin, First National Bank, Ronnie Grisani's, Banyan Tree Realtors, DeSoto Honda, Jim's Place, and South Haven Supply.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Genesis Diamonds' most extreme value on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA diamond ring.
This has been incredible. People have driven 4 hours to buy like a dealer buys. All GIA certified diamond rings are on sale. A full 20% discount off Genesis' amazing everyday value price.
Talking valuation without cost of 12 to 20 karat diamonds. All wax and billions and all items prestigious geometric.
Don't be surprised to see jewelry store owners and diamond dealers shopping alongside you.
Genesis has the largest jewelry diamond selection you've ever seen. Precision cuts, pear-shaped, emerald cuts, princess cuts.
Joining Brian and Brett now on Sportstime is National College Football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joins us now from CBS Sports to talk college football and college basketball. And David, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if there's ever, I love you and I love having you on our show. I don't think there's ever been another Monday that I've looked forward to more than today to talk to you, because we've got some controversy brewing in Boulder, Colorado. Deion Sanders did a press conference on Friday where a local CBS affiliate reporter tried to ask a question, and he said he would not answer him because he was affiliated with CBS. Now, Brett and I think it has something to do with when he was an analyst at CBS, but I was sent a couple minutes after that you put Deion Sanders second to last in the Big 12 coaches power rankings. Does Deion have something against you?
This is not what it's about, contrary to popular belief, because I was listening to the SEC morning show on Sirius XM this morning, and Peter Burns was saying, well, some writer at CBS had him ranked second to last in the in their coach rankings for the Big 12, and so I'm sure that's what this is about. No, that's actually not what it's about. In fact, what happened is, when Deion came after CBS in that press conference the other day, we actually bumped the timestamps or the headlines on all of our Deion Sanders content because it was getting Googled like crazy.
That's right.
And so it looks like my Deion Sanders Big 12 coach ranking story just came out the other day, but that had actually been out for a couple months. This is something I probably shouldn't get into, on the air. I don't want to get agitated and be viewed as the voice of the company. But this is about something else, and this is Deion being Deion.
By the end of the year, what do you think Colorado's record will be, David?
Good question.
Well, it's interesting you ask. I have a college football win totals piece coming out in a couple of days, and I picked my favorite win total bet for the season. And this is, you can see various sports books have win total projections. Colorado's most places is at 5.5. And you keep in mind they were 4-8 last year. They again have a very difficult schedule, and I am on the under. I think Deion Sanders and Colorado are probably headed for another 4-8 season, maybe another 5-7 season. I think if they make a bowl, he'll have done a very, very good job. And we can get into all the reasons why, but I'm on the under. I don't think they are going to make a bowl game this year.
I don't know how much of that story, that piece you want to give away, but who is one of your real off-the-radar teams? Mine's Arizona at 7.5.
I like to see you're on the over for Arizona there.
Big over.
Okay. I mean, they've got the quarterback to do it, Noah Fafita. I don't have Arizona in this piece. I've got I think it's 8 plays that I've identified as pretty good. And one that I think might surprise people is that I am pretty heavily on the Iowa over. Their win total is at 8. And you're thinking, well,
they score 8 points a game this year.
But sometimes they don't even need to because their defense is so good. And hey, look, they lost their punter from last year, so that's a big loss. But I do think Iowa's schedule is one of the most favorable of any power conference team in the country because even though they've dissolved the divisions in the Big Ten, Iowa still misses a lot of the big boys. No Michigan, no Penn State, no Oregon on that schedule. So I think Iowa's pretty seriously going to end up in the playoff contention come November. So that's one that is in that piece that I'm pretty bullish about that I would encourage folks to go out there and look at that. Iowa over 8.
I'm looking frantically now for Nebraska's win total. Found it 7.5. They received 16 votes in the first AP Top 25 poll. Dylan Raiola back there, he's going to be slinging it. Second year under Matt Rule. What do you think about this Nebraska team going into the season?
Well, they were like my last cut. I had them projected to be in that story, and I kind of got cold feet, but I was on the under. We were talking about a team that hasn't been to a bowl game since 2016, and now they're expected to win 8 games if you take the over. That's a massive step for me, and I understand Matt Rule's track record in year 2, but we're talking about a team that's going to be starting a freshman quarterback. They've already had key offensive line injuries during preseason camp. It's hard for me to see that team going out there and winning 8 games. I got cold feet because there's so much hype. There's so much hype around Nebraska, and I'm like, what am I missing? And so, if I don't have 100% conviction in these picks, I nix them. And I've done really well on them over the last couple of years. I'm 7-0 with 3 pushes, the last 2 years. So,
heck yeah!
I just got a little bit scared, though.
I can wait till December to get paid.
Yeah, why not?
Right. And so in the past, I've been too squeamish to even put my own money on my own picks. But, heck, I've done so well the last couple of years that I'm throwing down $10 on all these. But
now, y'all tell me something. At the online places, do they do like the brick and mortar places that you don't get paid until the season is completed?
That's a good question.
Right. Yeah, that's typically I think how it operates. So even if
if you had Arizona over 7.5 and they started 8-0, you can't go claim your cash.
That I'm almost positive that's the way it works. Because I'm not sure why, but yeah, you got to wait on these. So you got to view it as
I know why. The miracle of compounding interest.
Right. The longer they can hold your money, the better.
Right. They can make a lot more money with our money than we can with our money.
We can. David, I promise this is not going to turn into a gambling segment, and I'm going to try not to release all of your plays that you like.
It's legal now.
This story.
We don't have to be scared to talk about it anymore,
no,
David.
You're absolutely right. But the Memphis Tigers, I got to ask you about them. Right now, I'm looking at my preferred sports book, and I'm seeing over 9 at plus 100. What do you think about the Tigers and that 9?
I had a hard time talking myself into the over. I mean, the over is awfully appealing there, even money, because you're probably at worst going to push because you got those 3 really tough in-conference road games. So let's say you lose to Florida State, then it's like, all right, what do you do on the road in the AAC? I mean, I think a push is fairly likely. I mean, 9-3, and then maybe a a win in the AAC title game. But obviously around town, I mean, there's a lot of buzz around 10 wins, 11 wins. I think that might be a little ambitious. I don't know that I see Memphis winning 10, 11 games in the regular season. But, hey, look, if you go 9-3, you make the AAC title game, you win that, that's 10. Whether you make the playoff or not, you can still get to 11. But obviously when you're talking about 9 wins at a book, that's just for the regular season. So I don't have Memphis in my plays, for this piece that's coming out this week. But I would, if I were going to choose a side on Memphis 9, I would probably choose the over because you have pretty good push insurance there. Right. Because it feels like the likelihood of, I think 10-2 seems more likely than 8-4. I guess is where I would leave that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. AP Top 25 came out today. Any takeaways from it? Any overreaction, underreactions from what we saw earlier this morning?
I mean, these polls have been kind of disappointing.
Yeah, they really have.
I've been waiting for some drama, some real intrigue in these polls.
Very copy and paste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like they see whatever CBS and ESPN or the coaches poll put out there, and they sort of roll with that. And I understand that. I've been an AP voter in the past, and when you cover one team, and that one team is your responsibility, and then you have to rank every other team in the country whose practices you haven't been attending and whose press conferences you haven't been there for, you do sort of rely on the groupthink of whatever the national outlets are saying. But no, it's nothing that really jumps off the page particularly, but man, it really is a crowded contingent of SEC and Big Ten. I mean, you get all the way down to Notre Dame at 7 before you find your first team that's not in one of those two conferences. And then, even after Notre Dame, which is independent, you got to get all the way down to 10 with Florida State before you find somebody who's outside of the independent or the Big Ten or SEC. So, I mean, not that should be shocking to anybody, but you don't see anyone from the ACC or the Big 12 with a single-digit number next to their name.
David, you were editor of the Daily Beacon in school at UT, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a sports editor. Yeah.
I knew you were a sports editor. How many other Memphians? I know George Lapidus was when he was a collegian. How many other Memphians were sports editor of the Daily Beacon? Do you know?
Well, I believe that Michael Cole was the sports editor.
Was he good? I didn't know it. I'm glad to know that.
Almost positive about that.
Way to go, Memphis. That's a good threesome right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Feinbaum at one point.
Memphian? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Woody Page is from Memphis, isn't he?
He sure is. Grew up at Lauderdale Courts. I've talked to him about it.
I can't confirm that he was actually the sports editor or the editor at the Beacon at any point, but I'm almost positive he wrote for the Beacon. And considering what he went on to do, I'm assuming that he had a pretty lofty title when he was there.
Now, he wasn't from Memphis. Was Gene Wojciechowski editor?
Ooh, that's a good one, but I don't know that. I think he was, but he's back now on the faculty. I was actually got to meet
and played
him,
football.
Well, I definitely didn't know that. There's a trivia fact.
Yeah, I'm almost certain he played on the freshman team and may have been teammates on the freshman team with Bob Kesseling. Check me on that if I'm not. Anyway, I bring all this up because when we bring you on every Monday, your intro music is the actual Tennessee fight song. I know everybody thinks it's Rocky Top, but it's not. It's Down the Field.
I
and
wouldn't
today,
allow that, just saying. Just putting it out there.
Right. That's why we have Down the Field instead of Rocky Top, David, because Bryant wouldn't allow it. And today was the Associated Press first poll of the year. In the fight song of Down the Field, that was Yale's fight song. Tennessee borrowed it from Yale. And Yale still plays it as their fight song. In the 1936 first AP poll, Yale was ranked 10th.
Wow.
You don't think college football has changed?
Man.
And the change just keeps on coming, too. That's shocking. I mean, I guess you realize that back in the day, the academic institutions had some really good teams. And, boy, it's only getting harder for the folks like that, the Vanderbilts, Stanfords of the world, to compete. You don't see a whole lot of academic first schools represented in this AP Top 25 today.
All right. That's a great point. Think of academics and this top 10. In 1936, the first AP poll, Minnesota number 1, Duke number 2, Army 3, Northwestern 4, Purdue 5, USC 6, Notre Dame 7, Washington 8, Pitt 9, and Yale 10.
How about that?
I'm looking at this poll today and thinking, what's the hardest school to get into in the top 25 right now? Which school has the highest average ACT
Ole Miss
score?
by damn.
I've got degrees from Tennessee and Ole Miss now, and I don't think that either of them are quite there. I think Michigan might be. I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, but
Texas
Michigan might be. Yeah, Michigan, Texas, Ohio State. I don't know. I think Michigan's probably right up there. USC is pretty tough to get into as well. I think their average ACT score is pretty good. But of course, if you're the son or daughter of a celebrity, you can get a fake scholarship on the rowing team and just go there for free or whatever.
And Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame probably got an average ACT score around 30, I would guess.
Boy, I tell you who's very proud of their academics, and I think it's justified. Georgia loves to throw that at everybody else in the SEC.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're. Oh, how about this? I just looked it up. Notre Dame's average ACT score is 34.
Yeah,
I did not realize that. So
it cut me out by about 10.
Yeah, I mean, I had to take it like 6 times to get the scholarship money I needed at UD. So,
David, those practice test skull sessions, weren't they hideous?
Well, I took it so many times that by the 6th time I took it, I actually recognized the reading passages from a prior taking of the ACT. So that really helped me out. I would have had no chance at Notre Dame.
Yeah, well, at least you got to Tennessee. That worked out for you, I guess. But, David, last week we had 2 pretty big injuries, running back injuries, both in the state of Texas. Texas A&M running back Ruben Owens will miss the season with a leg injury, and also Texas running back C.J. Baxter will be out for the season with a knee injury. What do both of those injuries mean for those offenses at Texas and Texas A&M?
Yeah, that's a pretty big blow for Texas because amid all the change at wide receiver, you have at least felt pretty confident about what you had at running back because of what C.J. Baxter showed last season. Now you take him out, I think they'll still be fine because Jaden Blue is another former highly touted prospect who they're going to have there, and he's going to put up numbers. But you lose some of the dynamic and some of the depth there because, maybe a situation where Jaden Blue's got to play a ton. It'd be a 30 carry a game type of guy. And then obviously there's a certain rigor and injury risk that comes with that. So they may be way more tested in the depth department at that position than they anticipated, especially going into a tough season that has some tough games, early on. I mean, A&M, I really don't know what to make, to be honest with you, of their offense and their roster and their skill department because it's a new team. But, they do bring back Le'Veon Moss, and he's, somebody that I think was maybe going to get as much or maybe more touches than Ruben Owens. So of the 2, I think Texas A&M might be better positioned to withstand it, but it's crazy how quickly the injury bug starts hitting.
Oh, yeah.
And, in this day and time when you're talking about playing not only 12 regular season games, but then a conference title game and then maybe up to 4 playoff games, that's something to pay attention to this time of year because the injuries that start accumulating now, they could be the injuries that keep a team from making the deep run here in a few months.
Over the weekend, David, I had a friend of mine tell me that he thought Miami was really this year. He thought they were Ole Miss without the preseason hype. And my instant comeback is Mario Cristobal still the head coach?
Well, I've got some breaking news this year. I'm actually picking Miami. I'm going to regret this probably. And shout out to Jay Morgan, who I'm sure would have been thrilled with this.
Oh, of
but I'm
course.
picking Miami to win the ACC in spite of Mario Cristobal's presence as the coach. I when I look at their roster and I look at their schedule, to me, it's like if not now, then when? Because if they can't get it done with this roster against this schedule, then I think you gotta look at going another direction. Because I mean this team has the most talent of anyone in the ACC, and so. I am holding my nose and kind of plugging my ears and picking Miami to win, even though they've got Mario Cristobal as their coach. Because believe me, Brett, I am not vouching for Mario Cristobal. I think he's woefully underperformed as a head coach. But my gosh, man, they've got so much talent, so many good players on both sides of football that I think I like them to get it done.
First official on-air bet of the year. You want to put for me a Coca-Cola, for you a cold frosty one. I'll take the Gators opening day to beat the U straight up.
Whoa. Let's do it. I like that. That's a massive game for both teams. I'm down. Let's do that wager.
That's great. Talking to David Cobb, he joins us every single week from CBS Sports. David, please tell me either you or one of your colleagues has pitched the idea of going down to Pit Bull Stadium and experiencing and writing about what is happening at Pit Bull Stadium in all its glory.
Wow, what a day! What a day for college sports. Naming rights to Pit Bull. I love it because it makes Florida International relevant for the first
Give
time
me
in a
everything
while.
tonight.
I think they're actually going to be a little better than they have been in the past too. By better, I mean they might win like 5 games.
There you go.
But yeah, what a day! What a time! The naming rights of a college football stadium sold to Pit Bull. Nothing is safe and nothing is sacred. You know, maybe it's only a matter of time before Neyland Stadium is Dolly Parton Stadium, right? That's what I've seen tossed around recently. Goodness, you could actually do a really fun story if you went school by school and pick the recording artist or pop culture figure that each school should sell their naming rights to.
I love that.
Well, Memphis would be easy, wouldn't it? Sell it to Graceland and Elvis Presley Enterprises.
I'll take it.
Easy.
That.
I mean, now I did see some controversy recently about whether or not Graceland is who they're really owned by.
Well,
there's some sketchy
got shaky,
shell
didn't
company
it?
out there.
It sure did.
But,
Scammers, they're out there.
Yeah,
that was almost like a Russian troll farm. Almost had their hands on Graceland.
That was a wild story. Yeah, I get murky on the details there, but what in the world? Which, by the way, brings me to a really random point there on Graceland. I don't know if you guys know this or if I've told you this before, but before Graceland was owned by the Presley family, it was actually owned by the family of Ruth Moore Cobb. So I don't know if you guys see the connection there, but Ruth Moore, she married into the Cobb family. So in some weird roundabout way, my grandfather's cousin sold Graceland to Elvis. I don't know where all that money went.
Unbelievable.
How about that?
Wow.
I'm still waiting on my cut of that check.
Yeah, we need to work on that.
You ought to go knock on the gate and go, hey, some of this is mine.
Well, it's funny. My grandmother, she passed away last year at age 100, and she would tell us this story about how she and her mom would go to the gates of Graceland, and Elvis would ride by on his horse and wave at him. And I'm just like, I don't know if that's true, but maybe if he recognized you as the members of the family that sold the property to him, maybe it was true. I don't know.
Well, it was. It certainly then, but it was way out in the country at one time.
Yeah.
Right.
And the city came to the country.
And it's interesting, like, when you think about, like, we've traveled so much over the last few years, and when people ask where you're from, we say Tennessee because that encompasses all of our travels and the places we lived in Tennessee. And then if people don't say Nashville, which they often do, they say Memphis, and they immediately go to Graceland. And they're I've been to Graceland, or I want to go to Graceland. Or, the one thing that I know about Tennessee, if they don't say Jack Daniels, they say Elvis Presley. And so it's obviously, if you were going to name a stadium after a musical enterprise or a musical legend in the state of Tennessee, especially in the city of Memphis, boy, I'm down with going the Elvis direction. For sure.
And this week is High Holy Week, Friday nights, candlelight vigil. Every head bowed, every eye closed.
That's
right. I've never actually, this is weird, given the family history I just laid out for you, but I've never actually been inside the gate.
Really?
Let me give you a primer. When you see the famous picture of the front of Elvis's house, right above the door, you see a very small window right above the door.
Yeah.
That's the bathroom where he passed.
Wow. Yeah. I got to go.
George Klein gave me the super top secret.
There you go.
Tourist.
That's awesome, man. I mean,
event
great
one time.
Info and perspective there to know if I ever go. It's one of those things where it's like you grow up, and like my dad grew up in Whitehaven. So he drove past it all the time, and his family drove past it all the time. And then you get to that next generation, and you just don't think anything of it because you've just grown up with it. And, my dad was a big student of Memphis history, and I'm surprised that that we never went to Graceland. But that's absolutely something I got to do.
Yeah, it's a shame, David. We got to change that. I mean, as a massive Elvis fan, we've got to get that fixed. But
Bryant, you need to go to Candlelight Vigil with Rob Fisher, who is almost always an attendee.
Yes, I need to get. I've also never been to the Candlelight Vigil. Been to Graceland twice, but I've never been to the Candlelight.
I promise every year to go, and I never go, and I tell them I'll get them next year.
Get you next year. That's right. And then hope they forget and tell them the same thing next year. David, I asked you this last week. I'm going to ask you again. When the heck am I getting a Maui schedule?
Oh goodness. I don't know. I mean, what are we doing here? We're getting close to basketball season. It's crazy. What happens is football season. We're all anticipating that. And we get through a couple weeks of that, and then they're asking me for college basketball preview content. And I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? We need a schedule for that thing soon. But Memphis' non-conference schedule is kind of coming together, is it not? I mean,
it's together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy from what I've seen.
Mm-mm. No, not at all. It's loaded.
David, golf tournament this week. I warned you that we would ask for a winner next Sunday afternoon. Who wins the FedEx St. Jude Championship, the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tony Finau.
Ooh.
He hasn't really, I don't think, had a great year, but I think in non-majors he tends to play a little better. You get him in the majors, and he's a little iffy.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony Finau, in a non-major, he's always going to be there around the top 10 or in the hunt on the weekend. So, yeah, I'm going with Tony.
I think that's a good pick. I like that. David, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next Monday.
Okay, guys, I appreciate it.
Thanks, David. David Cobb joining us from CBS Sports. He joins us every single Monday to talk college football and college basketball, and a ton of college football talk as we get closer and closer to the start of the regular season, which literally is right around the corner. But we need to go ahead and get to another break, and when we come back, it was a busy weekend of preseason action in the NFL. We'll talk about what we saw over the weekend. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. The commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue 6-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
Genesis Diamond's most extreme values on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA certified diamond ring. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and the response has been incredible. People have driven for hours to buy like a dealer buys. All Genesis GIA certified diamond rings are on sale. A full 20% discount off Genesis' already amazing everyday value price. I'm talking about values you never thought possible. From a half carat to 20 carat diamonds, all handpicked for maximum brilliance and all graded by the most prestigious gem lab in the world. Genesis has the largest GIA diamond selection you've ever seen. Rounds, ovals, radiants, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts, everything you can think of. Now through Sunday, you can take advantage of this rare buying opportunity on the most gorgeous rings. Limit one per customer, please. Get the Genesis no middleman direct importer price, minus an extra 20% on all GIA diamond engagement rings. Now through Sunday, only at Genesis Diamonds on Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many. Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is an ACUSA church located in town Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting to build out of the Midtown area just in the last few minutes over here on 240 southbound from South Parkway down past Norris. Still looks pretty good, actually, at the moment as you travel 240 east from Mill Branch all the way out to 385. As you get on to Bill Morris Parkway, that's still in decent shape right now. Headed on out towards the Collierville area. Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub curbless shower conversion. Log on to havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Well, it was a busy weekend of NFL action as we had our first full week 1 of the preseason in the NFL. Brett, what'd you see?
I saw some quarterback play that I really, really liked. And at the top of it, J.J. McCarthy. He had the one pick that wasn't that bad a throw. I thought the defender made a really good play on it. But here's the rub with all these rookie quarterbacks, maybe even Bo Nix in Denver, that really had maybe the best weekend of all the rookie quarterbacks. If you start them opening day, if you ever pull them, it really does something to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
once you pull him, he's wrecked.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to be strategic with
freshman
these guys.
quarterbacks in college.
You're absolutely right.
And that's one of the real things. When so many people were getting a little loud around Ryan Silverfield through the years, that I would always defend him on and point to, he went with Seth and stuck with him, and it's kind of paid off. And
I think just a little bit, Brett.
Now college is different than the NFL, and boy, doesn't Steve Smith love saying that on the NFL Network? College is over. This ain't.
Right.
We know that. Why does the NFL type have to say that?
Because this is the NFL. It's bigger, better football. Yes,
it's the shield.
Exactly.
We all know that.
Yes.
We all know there's a difference between a professional sport and a semi-professional sport.
No, that's like the most.
But college football is a professional sport.
No, that is definitely the most cliched, non-cliche out there of these guys. They've got to learn that this isn't college football anymore. Like,
Steve Smith and Maurice Jones-Drew said it every time they threw it back to the studio on NFL Network all weekend. But I think J.J. McCarthy's going to be fine at quarterback. But once you go with him, you got to stay with him.
You got to.
And will they want to do that? You know, they have the USC quarterback, Sam Darnold, there that's been around the block, and he got ruined. He got ruined going with and staying with.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
By the Jets.
And I think J.J. McCarthy, I'll use another cliche here. Like, J.J.'s a gamer, and it just feels like for him, maybe it's his meditation. I don't know what it is, his pregame routine where he doesn't wear his cleats and meditates in the end zone. But, like, it feels like he makes a mistake, and he just lets it go. He doesn't linger on it, and I think you kind of saw that in this preseason game. First NFL game, you throw a pick, okay, shake it off, and looked great after that. And so that's one thing about JJ is I feel like, yeah, he's going to have those growing pains. He's going to make mistakes. Those are going to be there. But I feel very confident when it comes to JJ McCarthy that he's going to let that kind of roll off his back, and he's just going to keep going and trying to make more plays, because that's what I've seen from him in that game and in college at Michigan.
Can you imagine? I've brought this up a couple of times, and I've done it mostly needling at Gus Malzahn. I'm not bringing it up this time to do that. I promise. I don't want to be a broken record about it. But if you're an Auburn True Blue fan, even if you're Gus Malzahn, to see at Oregon and to see now probably be an opening day starter for the Denver Broncos, and you royally messed up Bo Nix like that at Auburn.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good feeling, because he was unbelievable at Oregon, and then he goes to the NFL and a lot of question marks, but first challenge, first preseason game, looked great yesterday. I mean, he was unbelievable.
And I don't think he ever would, and I don't know what it would really prove, but if you got somebody interviewing him, because I always said every time at Auburn, he had to be thinking, looking at the head coach, my dad knows a whole lot more about coaching quarterbacks than you do.
Henderson State, shout out.
Born in Arkadelphia, Bo was.
How about that? I love that.
When Patrick was
such a great
at Henderson State. And then with Oregon, how much better he got as the year went from when they got him through the end of last year, through the bowl game. When he could have opted out and not played in that, and nobody would have questioned it. To now, he's working under Sean Payton, that just walking by the room knows more about quarterback play than Gus Malzahn.
You're absolutely right. And a great point by you, because I remember that bowl game, Oregon versus Liberty, and I remember day of the game when it started coming out, hey, Bo Nix is playing. And I was going, Bo Nix is going to play in this bowl game? What do you mean he's going to play in this bowl game? And, looked fine. They took him out early. And, now Sean Payton, we know it's funny because has always been the quarterback guru, knows what to do with quarterbacks. And then last year, him and Russ Wilson, they butt heads and it just didn't work out. And there were a lot of people that were going, oh, Sean Payton doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't know how to use. It's not a bad thing to think, but now it looks like, it's still very early, anything can happen. But it looks like he went out there and said, "This is the guy I want to lead my offense," and it looks like it's going to pay off for him.
It does. And did you notice who was running back kickoffs and maybe even some punts for the Steelers? Can't wait to talk to Bo about it. Speaking of Gus Malzahn, a former quarterback of his.
Oh, I have no idea who.
John Rice Plumlee.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. See, I didn't get to see much of the Steelers.
And that's how he's going to make the team.
That's right.
In return game.
Well, that's all. Did he look good?
Pretty good.
Okay,
some of the kickoffs to him weren't really advantageous.
Sure.
Advantageous for him
to
show what he has or doesn't have. But he can run. Sure. Tough player, good player.
Mm-hmm.
Now it would be emergency quarterback that he would have to go in, but sometimes you might get down to that.
Brett,
I think it'll be tough for him to make the team, but I hope he does.
Sure, but if he did,
wonderful youngster,
and you have him as receiver or whatever it is, and you need an emergency quarterback, not a bad guy to have out there. And I remember, San Francisco a couple years ago where they were down to third string, and what are we going to do? So that would not be bad at all. Did you see any of, I mentioned it earlier, Caleb Williams in his first game with the Bears?
I did, settled in. I thought looked pretty good.
Really good.
Wasn't out there a long time, but one big advantage for him now, for sure, compared to last year at SC and even his Heisman Trophy winning year, he doesn't have to be Magic Man every play.
No.
He can play a little dive play and play action and the easy stuff and turn it over to a defense and a kicking game, and it won't feel like he has to bat 1,000. At USC, he never could strike out at bat. I'm mixing metaphors horrible.
I love it, though.
He had to score with that slop defense, especially last year, and even the Cotton Bowl year when Tulane got him.
You're absolutely right. And it's crazy to think that a quarterback of that caliber at a school of that caliber had to do that because you would think, okay, has enough. He doesn't have to be perfect, but
isn't that Lincoln Riley?
That's Lincoln Riley, and I'm telling you, Brett, I've said it before. This is I got my eyes on you, Lincoln, year for me with USC, and I know
I do too.
New quarterback, but man, you got to do something for me.
And now we're officially all over the place, but that was one in the top 25 today. I thought, exactly why?
Yeah, and that's, I think, we had the same.
Did people just get down there and go, all right, I need some name from the past? All right, USC.
Somebody, give me a name. USC.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yes. Let's write it down. No.
I mean, what did they do last year to merit being over Iowa?
Well, and not even that, Brett. What did they do without Caleb Williams that merited them being in the top 25? Because it's going to be completely new, completely different without him in the fold. I think we talked about that last week.
What did you see this weekend that you liked other than the end of the Cowboys game that I was listening to Brad Sham on the Buzz in Little Rock call the Cowboy action?
How about this?
With Babe Laufenberg.
So I watched most of the game, probably through 3 quarters, and I was like, this is not the way I wanted this game to go.
It was painful.
It was really bad, Brett. So then I go out to eat with
Brad
my family.
and Brad and Babe were talking about Babe Laufenberg's brother that lives in Malibu a lot of the broadcast. It was so bad.
I don't blame him. There was not much to talk about. So I go and eat dinner. I go and meet my family up for dinner, and I'm sitting there, and I can't see the television, but I can see like half the television. And so I saw like half of Stetson Bennett's touchdown at the end of the game. And it was very painful to watch. But yes, that caught my eye for sure. Nothing much in that game. I thought Caleb Williams looked really good. I was really impressed. Like Jaden Daniels, I thought all of the rookie quarterbacks looked really good. I was really impressed with what all of those guys showed. And
except for
who's that?
Drake May.
Oh yeah, Drake May.
Way back on
that's the.
So you were just talking the weekend. You were right. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, I completely forgot about Drake because what was that, Thursday night? Yeah. That wasn't.
Don't lump him into the weekend. I'm sorry.
No. Yes, I'll try to keep him out of my head. But I thought all the quarterbacks looked really, really good. There were a couple of second year guys that I was kind of impressed with. Some surprises. John Ross is still in the NFL. That was news to me over the weekend. I saw him returning a kick and
that record 40 time at the combine.
Absolutely, he's with the Ravens now. So I did not know that, or maybe he's with the Eagles. He's with one of those teams that played. Saw Kenneth Gainwell. Blake Watson scored yesterday for the Broncos. Really cool seeing him out there. I saw Calvin Austin have a nice catch in the Steelers game. So seeing a lot of those Tigers was fun to see over the weekend.
I saw Calvin Austin on a play that spilled into the sidelines. It was no doubt a late hit, and he's sitting kind of near where the defender landed. And they get up, and it's guys trying to make the team. They're kind of throwing punches. Calvin sat right there on the bench. I've made this team. You're not getting in my pocket. There's no need to be getting up and throwing a punch.
I'll just watch y'all do all of this nonsense. I did love the Dorian Thompson-Robinson, another big game for him. I'm just waiting for, I know, no starter hype like we did last year for him in Cleveland. But I want some backup hype generating out of there. They got Jameis Winston on that roster now. We got a backup quarterback battle in Cleveland.
Back to my not top story. That 90 quarterbacks played.
That's insane.
And you go through those box scores. There wasn't a halfback pass in there. It's not somebody that got into the quarterback box score that wasn't. It's somebody maybe not under center, but at quarterback and listed on a roster as a quarterback. Got up to 90. That'll thin down.
It will thin down.
Starting this week.
Man, you're right. I mean, watching those games and then also looking at some of the box scores of the games I wasn't able to catch and seeing teams going 4 quarterbacks deep in these preseason games, and that's how preseason goes. It's not a big deal or anything, but, I mean, Emory Jones, he's with the Ravens right now. I had no idea. Saw him get in there. I think ended up fumbling, but, it's some interesting names getting in there.
And then teams like Darian's team, the 49ers, they know what they have. They want to get this stuff over with so bad. You could tell it in their game against the Titans. Just get to all zeros and let's get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, there are teams like that. And certainly, you talk about a team that's like that and is definitely saying, let's get to the regular season. Now, the Chiefs, with what happened to Hollywood, with Hollywood Brown has that catch. He goes down on his shoulder, had to end up going to the hospital, and is now I believe, out of the hospital,
he's
but
out.
is going to be out for some time with that shoulder injury. And so that's a team, they know exactly what they have. They're not using the preseason to figure anything out. They're saying, let's go ahead and get to that regular season yesterday.
There was a team that had that. It looked like they had that about them, and I don't know if they've done enough to maybe be copying that, but I think they're going to be real good. Cleveland was mailing it in against the Packers.
Yeah. You're absolutely
but I think Cleveland's
going
to be good.
I think Cleveland's going to be good, but that's a good question of are they to that point yet? I don't.
Yeah, let's have that stinger a little sharper.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point by you. But, I'm with you. I think Cleveland's going to be good. On the other side, Green Bay, they say, hey, Jordan Love, get out there. Let's see what you got. He throws a long touchdown pass. They go, okay, all right. Enjoy watching the rest of the game. That's all we needed to see from you. So it was definitely a fun weekend, though.
And they saw enough. It was a fun weekend. It's a fun time of the summer. And no matter what new Chevy or pre-owned car you're looking for, our friends at All-Star Chevy, they have it on the lot or in the showroom for you right now in Olive Branch. Head down Highway 78 into Mississippi after you cross the state line. The first exit's Kraft Goodman Road, and you're at All-Star Chevrolet, where Drew DePriest and all the good guys are. Come out and test drive 2 or 3 of these vehicles together. Let's drive what we really want to drive for All-Star Chevy's end of summer sale. If you can't find it down there, you can't find it anywhere. There's at least 20 or 30 new Silverados marked down as much as 12% to save you thousands. Every Tahoe you could want for road trips and tailgating, they have it. Law enforcement, military, teachers, first responders, healthcare workers, college students, college grads, all get an extra $500 bonus back instantly. All the pre-owned Ram trucks and Silverados, a 4Runner, an Audi, Hyundai Palisade, Bronco, and a sweet Corvette Stingray. Best week to get the most money on any vehicle you want to sell is this week. Bring it to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get your big check today. Don't miss All-Star Chevy's end of summer sale going on right now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. For a lot more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Cottonville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
At Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, they're proud to be here for their neighbors while giving back to communities across the state throughout the year, every year. This month, they're honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers as they make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament fundraiser a resounding success. Giving back to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which helps treat and defeat childhood cancer, is a meaningful effort that is very close to their hearts. This year, their goal is to reach $3 million in donations for kids at St. Jude's, and they couldn't do it without the support of their amazing volunteers. To all the participants, thank you for being a part of this most important endeavor to lift up so many families across the state from right here in Memphis, Tennessee. To read more about Team Blue volunteers, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, Healthy Places, and other ways they're devoted to helping our communities, please visit bcbst.com.
Here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive 567-0303 or visit us online at BrianMillerRoofing.com.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy.
I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today is the number 30. Juan Soto hit his 30th home run of the season yesterday, which makes him the first player in MLB history to hit 30 or more home runs in a season for 3 different teams before turning 26 years old. Just incredible. Obviously did it with the Nationals, did it with the Padres, and yesterday did it with the Yankees. What he has done, it's hard to believe at times that he is as young as he is. I sometimes question it, watching him at bat, hitting these home runs and thinking back to him with the Nationals. I mean, it's incredible how young he is.
And he played older with the Nationals than he did with the Padres.
You're absolutely right. And so it is crazy to think
Here
about
come
his
the Bombers.
age. And
they got Judge rolling.
They're
and
starting to
now
turn it around.
21 over 500. They play 63 under 500. The White Sox tonight.
I love that. Yes, John was closing his show today, and he goes, "I always give a bet at the end of the show. If you've got $300 that you can throw on a game, I can make you $100. Put it on the Yankees tonight against the White Sox."
That's not gambling.
No, that's not gambling at all.
Gambling's putting up a little bit and getting a whole bunch back.
The gambling would be saying, let's throw a little bit of money on the White Sox tonight against the
No, that's stupidity.
Well, yes, you're probably right. It's a fine line, though. It's a very fine line.
It really is. My big number, and Brian, you know I'm going to have a theme
for
the FedEx St. Jude Championship Week. Monday through Thursday will be FedEx. I'm sticking to my college football only through the national championship for Friday. But today is 67, as in 67 straight years the PGA Tours roll through Memphis, at Old Colonial, at New Colonial, at TPC Southwind. Once had a PGA event for 2 years in the 40s, the Memphis Invitational. That was played at Chickasaw, and one of those famously was the end of Byron Nelson's 11 straight wins. His streak was snapped there, but for 67 straight years, we've had an event, whether it was the Memphis Classic or the Danny Thomas Memphis Classic or even Allen Stanford, and thank goodness for FedEx. We've had this event, and it has been great through the years.
Yeah, no, it absolutely has been. I know we've talked a ton about it and how excited we are to get out there this weekend, and I know it's going to be a lot of fun. We were talking to Joe earlier about the new attractions they'll have out there for fans and the returning ones, and I know we talked about it last week, a couple weeks ago when it was announced the Tigers basketball team. A couple of the players will be out there on Saturday signing autographs, taking pictures, so it's going to be a lot of fun this year.
And you know the one thing I'm going to have in honor of the late, great Phil Cannon, soon as I hit the property on Thursday
What's
after play has started,
Okay.
Pronto Pup with a lot of mustard.
Oh, you got to have a Pronto Pup.
Phil would have he would have his. They would tee off like at 7:08, and he would go have a Pronto Pup.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be my next question. What time are we getting there to get our
Mine's going to be
Pronto
around
Pup?
lunch hour. I'm not.
Okay, I see.
I'm not starting today with breakfast Pronto Pup.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not the best idea to start your day on a
Probably say you better work all day if
Well,
that's the case.
yeah, you got to have something. But
It's only really good for 12 hours.
That's true. That's true.
I don't want to challenge it.
No. You definitely don't want to challenge that. But it's going to be a fun week, and
Sure will be. Hope we have great crowds
yeah.
and people come by and see us all day,
Definitely.
every day, Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Just an all-star list of great sponsors that we appreciate so very much.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so, in having the top 70 golfers there, I know, in the past, and Brett, you laid out a nice history that I was not around for a lot of those tournaments, but I know before, we got a part of the playoffs, it was, will this guy come? Will that guy come? But, to be able to say top 70 guys are going to be here competing is a lot of fun.
To have Masters champion, to have PGA champion, British Open winner, gold medal winner.
Olympic gold, yeah.
We did all we could a lot of years. There was a lot of years. It was one or two or three.
Oh, yeah.
And then just try to cobble together the best we could do. But we did it when we got through it.
Absolutely.
Got through sadly, the Stanford financial years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and last thing I'll say before we go to a break, I know we're going to talk more golf.
Sir Allen,
on
what
the
a
other side.
joke.
Wow, yeah. I can tell you're not a fan of that. But one thing that I'm going to be really looking forward to this weekend, and I've talked about it before, and I'll mention it again throughout the week, but this era we're kind of in PGA Tour where you've got the older guys that are kind of at the top of the game, Scotty, Rory, Xander. But then you've also got kind of this new crop of young guys when you look at Ludwig and Akshay and some of those other guys. Nick Dunlap will be
Sahith
here.
Theegala.
Sahith Theegala, another really good one. We've got this young crop of new guys that are coming in and really, stamping their name on the game of golf. And so
Maybe yesterday's winner.
Sure, yeah. Rye. And so, it's a good mix, and it's going to be fun this weekend to see all of that group and seeing some of those young guys that, in a couple of years, I think will really be at the top of this game.
And to go watch them on the practice area, especially in the bunk area.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's just so easy.
It's incredible.
It's the best doing it.
They make it look easy, and then you get that kind of that faux confidence of like, oh.
No, I never get any confidence in a bunker.
Oh, I've been there, yeah.
Unless the other guy's not looking, I can pick it up and throw it.
That's right. I've been out there before. I go, oh, look, I see what they're doing. They make it look so easy. I've just got to do this and that. And then I get out to the
muscle
golf
memory,
course.
you got to remember, is about 10,000 hours longer than ours doing it.
Yeah, I get
and they're
out there.
doing it the right way every time.
Exactly. And then I finally get out there and go, okay, remember, this is what you saw them do. Let's do it. And then I'm dog cussing
Look
myself
out.
and everybody else.
Decapitate somebody coming out of their little hut.
Exactly. So it's they're the pros, that's for sure. But we need to wrap up hour number 2 and get to another break. And when we come back, we're going to talk some more golf. Dan Reardon from KMOX, he's their golf reporter. He'll join us. We'll talk about the year in golf that we've seen and also what's going to happen this week, what he thinks will happen later this week here in Memphis at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. We'll do all of that next on Sports Time.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
The best golfers in the world are coming to Memphis for the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news and talking with the players and officials. Our coverage of TPC Southwind on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Carterville. Also sponsored by Town Village Auto and Park, Wilson's Power Wash, Wade Incorporated, North Mississippi John Deere Dealer, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and Jason's Deli.
When you were young, all you wanted in the summer was an ice cream truck to roll this weekend. Maybe you're looking to fill up that tool chest. Maybe you're looking for a tool chest to fill up. You'll save money either way. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until August 18th, 2024. While supplies last. Limitations apply.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad? Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors. Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy, the FedEx St. Jude Championship, August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama as 70 players arrive in Memphis and only 50 move on. Tickets are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now, Dan Reardon, KMOX Sports' golf reporter, joining us to talk about this year in the world of golf. Dan, thanks so much for joining us. A lot of excitement here in Memphis with the FedEx St. Jude Championship coming up later this week. But what has been kind of some of your takeaways, some of your big stories, maybe stories of the year on the PGA Tour?
Well, that's a broad brush to paint with. I think it's been a very good year on tour. I think they've had a lot of good stories. I mean, you have clear-cut talent that has performed extremely well. When you talk about any year, you look at the majors and you have really good names. You have DeChambeau with a U.S. Open championship. You have Schauffele with the Open Championship in the PGA, and you have Scotty Scheffler winning the Masters. So your headline right off the bat on that is good. And it's not just that those guys won. All those were entertaining finishes. They were compelling tournaments to watch. Then you throw in a little flavoring with a great final day at the Olympics. So in men's golf, I think it's been a very positive story for the tour. Yeah. And the one thing that threatened to overshadow it the whole time has stayed in the background the entire time, which is LIV has had no impact on golf whatsoever this year.
Do you think we're anywhere closer to some resolution between with all the powers and factions of golf?
I don't have a sense of that, quite honestly. I know that from a media standpoint, even at the Olympics, the players were still answering questions about LIV. What changed that circumstance dramatically is when they got the outside money, when they got their $3 billion from another source, it changed their bargaining position tremendously as it applies to LIV. And quite honestly, I'll take the second part, your question, and apply it separately. I don't think this has been a particularly good year for LIV. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any storyline coming off of that tour. And in fact, it now sort of becomes the tour where people go to disappear. We can look at DeChambeau and the success he had both at the PGA in a runner-up capacity and then winning the U.S. Open and say, well, that reflects favorably on the LIV tour. But it doesn't, in fact, because Bryson won virtually all of his accomplishments in golf were done on the PGA Tour, and he just transitioned to that other tour. But you've got two guys who at Memphis in the last 10 years were the two guys who have won at least 2 titles at Memphis. You have Patrick Reed and you have Dustin Johnson. Where are they in the world of golf today? You know, and Dustin may be a little bit up there in years, higher 30s, but Patrick is young enough that he should be a name. And you take a player like John Rahm. What's happened with John Rahm this year? He's been successful on the LIV Tour in the sense he talks about all the top 10s he's had on the LIV Tour. Well, I'm sorry, a top 10 on LIV doesn't separate you from many players with a lot of talent. So I think the bargaining position of the PGA Tour is going to be much more hard line than it would have been at this time a year ago because they're in a much more strategically powerful position.
Dan, that is a really strong take, and not just because I agree with every syllable you said. You're right about it. John Rahm talking about his live top 10s. Well, you might as well be telling me about winning your club championship, except for the money, of course. The money's outrageous, but that rings so hollow with so many golf fans because we know 54 holes is not a PGA Tour event. It's not a real event.
And not only that, but, you know, I'll take it. You said club championship. I'll be a little more generous, but I will say I think you throw John Rahm on the Corn Ferry Tour, and a top 10 is more challenging than it is on the LIV Tour.
Ooh, I agree with you, Dan. And here in Memphis, after we watched John Rahm really fold at the Olympics, I said that next day, a week ago today, I said next time we see him is at Augusta National.
Correct. And that's what I said. This right now, this tour is where players go to disappear. Yeah. And it will be interesting to know, you know, if you set aside the money, how many of these players would express regret? You know, I'll throw another name. And granted, he won a major championship. Where is Brooks Koepka these days? You know, if LIV is going to harm the PGA Tour, they can only harm them by denying them players that people really want to see. And I don't think that list includes 5 names. And so if you have 5 names that people don't really care a great deal about right now, then the PGA Tour is thriving in this situation as far as I'm concerned.
Dan, when I talked about some type of peace, armistice with the factions of golf, one thing I would remain adamant about to Commissioner Monahan and the PGA poobahs, I would say we can come together, but we never come together if Greg Norman's in the room.
Yeah, well, and I think that would be easily done. I don't think he is entrenched in that position. I think he's a figurehead in many cases, very passionate about what he's doing. You know, if I was going to give the recommendation, and of course nobody's going to ask my opinion, I think the perfect time for the LIV Tour comes the week after the Tour Championship, and then give them all of the fall. You know, and let them play, even if they're opposite PGA Tour wraparound events, let them play September, October, November, December when they're playing elsewhere in the world. Give them those 14 dates there and let the rest of the tour. Now, whether they'll do that or not is questionable, but they're big overseas. They can go to Australia and draw huge galleries. They can go to Asia and draw good galleries. I think Europe is pretty much off limits at that time for the same reason it's off limits in this part of the world because weather would work against them. But I think there's a window for them if they want to do that. And the other thing I wish they would do, I wish they would drop these team events. I mean, you can't even name the team, much less care about the team. And then you eliminate some of the clutter that's on their screen during the broadcast.
Yeah. I think I like both of those ideas. I think both of those are very solid ideas. Talking to Dan Reardon, he joins us from KMOX Sports. When you look at the PGA Tour, there's been 2 golfers that have really almost dominated this season. It's been Scottie Scheffler, it's been Xander Schauffele. What have you made of the year for both of those guys and that debate that I've seen a lot of people have over these last couple of years, Scottie versus Xander? Which side do you fall on?
Well, if we're talking about player of the year, from my standpoint, it's clearly going to be Scottie. Even though Xander won 2 events and they were both majors, that's still a lot in his direction. But Scheffler has 6 titles, plus one of them being a major, and then throw in the icing with the Sunday performance at the Olympics. Yeah. And I think even Xander would admit that if it's player of the year, that Scheffler deserves it. But you do have a second name to look at. And the other thing, when you talk about the year, it's easy to look at the positives. Who are the negatives that we're talking about? And right off the bat, Rory has to play well in this FedEx Series. I mean, this has been his garden spot on the tour for a number of years, and he's coming off of a really disappointing stretch in golf. Not that he didn't play well, but he didn't finish well. And so I don't know if he's in the field at Memphis, but he's going to be in the field in these FedEx events. And quite honestly, that series has been Scotty Scheffler's Achilles heel. He's kicked away a couple of those opportunities to win that event in a short period of time. He's got a little pressure on him, I think, when he gets to the Tour Championship to deliver the goods.
Yeah. I was talking to Brett earlier. I mentioned it, and it's something that I've kind of been following throughout this year on the PGA Tour. These young guys that are coming up. You look at Sahith Theegala, Ludwig, Akshay Bhatia. You look at some of these younger guys. Nick Dunlap has kind of been making some waves on the tour. What do you make of this kind of newer group, these younger players on tour, and a lot of those guys we'll be seeing later this week here in Memphis?
Well, Oberg is something that everybody considers legitimate, although he hasn't had quite the second half of the year as he did the first half of the year. Mm-hmm. I've been impressed with Bhatia, particularly given the fact that he took the hard route to where he is. He said, "I'm not going to college. I'm going to go out and play golf." And he basically followed the Justin Rose trajectory, which he disappeared for a couple of years, and now he seems like he's the real deal. If you were picking, I looked it up. And I don't know what the tour criteria for being a rookie would be, but if I was picking a rookie of the year, it would be the other person you mentioned. I think Nick Dunlap falls under that heading, but I don't know if he qualifies as a rookie because his tour status was a little bit uncertain. But he won the American Express as an amateur, and then he proved that wasn't a fluke by winning, I think it was at Barracuda. So he has 2 wins on tour. I don't know anybody in the rookie ranks that has that kind of credential that they can throw at the rest of the field. But there are some good young players out there. I don't think this has been the best year for first-year players on tour, as we have seen. And one of the other things, and I looked it up, what the other thing about Rookie of the Year? It doesn't predict your future. In the last roughly 20 years, players who are Rookie of the Year, only 2 of them ever won a major after becoming Rookie of the Year. And I'd have to look and see who the 2 were, but it's not really as much of a prediction of success as you might imagine.
And one that is not very predictive, and it's coming up, is the U.S. Amateur. Yeah, there are some. There are plenty that have gone on to PGA Tour stardom, but it's a lot of Sam Randolph and Nathaniel Crosby and Colt Knost in there.
Absolutely. I talked to Nathaniel sometime after that amateur championship, and it was an enlightening conversation. Now, I do believe Sargent is the real deal. I'm waiting for him to get among the ranks of the professionals and see how well he plays. I do think that the jump from college to pro is less now than it was, say, 10 years ago. I think those guys are ready to come out and live in that world and perform in that world.
Yeah, Gordon Sargent at Vanderbilt, he does look like he can't miss. Never misses, is Dan Reardon with us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, talking the world of golf, with it being FedEx St. Jude Championship Week. What do we got to get you to drive down 55 and join us this week, Dan?
It's on my bucket list, but I'm otherwise occupied right now. But it's the proximity, and now that you have this FedEx, I've got to do it at least one time because it's an easy drive, and so I promise I will put you on my list.
And we talk about it around U.S. Open time. I don't know what awakened the USGA to this, but it proved last year at L.A. Country Club. It did this year at Pinehurst. Next year at Oakmont. 2026 at Shinnecock. 2027 Pebble Beach. 2028 Wingfoot. It's back at the name brand places. That's where the U.S. Open should be decided, not on the moon in Seattle.
I agree with you, but I always draw the exception. The sites you mentioned are East Coast, West Coast, and nothing in the middle of the country. And
Agreed.
And I applaud the PGA of America, because they're willing to play every place in the country, and the USGA has tilted strongly away from it. I guess you can make the argument that Pittsburgh is not East Coast, but it's certainly Eastern. But there's no question that the quality of the courses they're playing There's no Chambers Bay sitting out there. My understanding is, though, that Aaron Hills is going to get a U.S. Open championship, and I was not impressed with Aaron Hills when I covered the tournament there.
What do you expect to see this weekend here in Memphis, and who do you think could find success this weekend?
You know, I looked at your roster of champions. You guys have a great history. There's very few players in the last 7, 8, 9 years in Memphis, even before you became a FedEx event. Everybody has been a pretty much of a marquee player. So I think the golf course does apparently a pretty good job of identifying, top talent. As far as having a sense of that, I think throwing the Olympics in and giving us that downtime for a week, and then, the Wyndham Championship is a qualifier more than anything else. I mean, it's an end of the season event, and not to be cruel, but the guys that we're paying attention to are the bottom feeders on the PGA Tour who are trying to get into FedEx. So it's not a prestige event. And by the way, let me throw that thought at you. When you look at 2024, we see the new PGA Tour with its 8 signature events. And you could make the argument, you take the 8 signature events, you take the 4 majors, and then you take the 4 FedEx events, and that is the PGA Tour. And the next one is PGA Tour Light, and that includes all the events that don't get the marquee players, and then you have Korn Ferry. I would like to see the PGA Tour do what the LPGA did a few years ago, which is mandate that those players who play in those signature events and play in the elite events have to play in 2 or 3 additional events each and every year, because if they don't, those tournaments are going away. There's no way you can send out a field that doesn't include the top 60 or 70 players in the world and expect television to pay for it and expect spectators to play for it. So I don't know if this new PGA Tour, which is clearly a byproduct of what LIV was doing, I don't know what that does to the events that don't have big money signature standing in the game. You guys are in great shape, but you've been on the other end of that world for at times, and you know what that's like, and that's a hard sell to be John Deere.
Yeah, we've had two glove Tommy Gainey in our event too often. Dan, what has been your signature moment for 2024 on the PGA Tour?
You know, even though it's really not a golf event, I think the Sunday that Scheffler put up this last week. I thought so too. It was the best Sunday of the year. Ryder Cup. It's an unbelievable performance from a player against, and as I said, the field is horrible. It's the worst field in golf for the Olympics. But what makes that gold medal is it's a rare accomplishment. There's only 2 other guys that have one of those things, and you got to wait another 4 years to get one of those things.
Yeah.
And who Scheffler beat down the stretch were the premier players that were in that field. So I have to say, if I was picking the electric moment, it's 62 on the final day, and coming from climbing over 5 guys ahead of you and winning the gold medal. I find, I've been to the PGA. I was at the PGA. I was at the Masters. They're all great events, but once every 4 years you get a gold medal. I think that puts it in rare company.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Dan, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and let's do this again soon.
Enjoyed it, guys, and good luck with the tournament this week.
Thanks, Dan. Dan Reardon joining us from KMOX Sports to talk really kind of a whip around of this year in golf, a little bit about this weekend's tournament, but definitely a lot of good stuff for him. We're going to talk a little bit more about this weekend at the FedEx St. Jude Championship, but I do want to throw this out. We gave away 2 tickets earlier for Wednesday's Pro-Am round at Southwind for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. We're going to give away another pair right now, so if you want to get out there, Joe Tomic was talking earlier about that experience, being out there on Wednesday, watching these guys in their element, trying to work on their game, practicing, figuring out the course a little more laid back than it is Thursday through Sunday. So if you want to get out there, be the first caller, 901-360-8255, the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line, 901-360-8255. Give us a call. Darian will hook you up with those 2 tickets for Wednesday's Pro-Am out at Southwind. But Brett, we were talking about it earlier, and we're going to continue to talk about it. This field is such a good field, top 70, and Dan was just talking about it, about how this tournament seems to find the quality winner out there in the group. And when you have top 70, you have this week off because of the Olympics. It could be a really, really thrilling finish come Sunday.
And Dan made mention of the golf course and the setup, and we talk that every year with John, going since the redo.
Yeah.
After John Cook just obliterated the place, it had to change, and it did. And now with this time of year, this is when you can get the golf course just laid out perfectly. This time of year, with all the warm weather we've had, and water and fertilizer, it makes for magic, and they get it right. And I'll say this out there, and I don't mean it at all as a shot to TPC Southwind, but on the face of it, there's not anything that spectacular about the course, but the totality of it makes it the test that it is. It's really what you see is what you get. It's right there in front of you. You go get it. It doesn't maybe have some of the signature holes of some of the places at the major spots. And one thing that hurts every tour stop, and especially not non-major, is when we watch Augusta National, whether we really do or don't, we think we're so familiar with all those holes, whether it's the name of them or where they've ranked in golf history's prominence. Well, we've got some special holes at Southwind, and Joe was talking about the tournament comes down to that 14, 15, 16. I'll throw in 17 and 18, that finish. 17's a brute. And then on 18, one of the defining things about a lot of TPC courses, it's either going to be a dog leg left or a dog leg right.
That's right.
As you're kind of coming down 18, and we have that. How good's this field? Jordan Spieth is 64th.
I mean, that's incredible. I mean, some of the names, I know Wednesday I was looking at it before we talked to John, and just some of those names that were right there on the outside, and you're thinking, wow, these guys aren't going to be here because they didn't qualify for top 70.
Defending champ.
Yeah.
Lucas Glover not here.
That's another really good one. So, yeah, it's a really good list of guys, and I'm excited. And I love, you mentioned it, what Joe said earlier when we were talking to him about, when you cross that street getting to 14 and you kind of start those last final holes, that's really when it starts having to come together. And I love that because he's absolutely right. I mean, that 14, that par 3, is one that you really got to try to capitalize on to kind of start those last couple holes.
And it ends every year as the number one or number two toughest par 3 on tour. Okay, it's not Golden Bell, it's not number 12 at Augusta National that it has it almost has been and it rightfully has been made into something so nostalgic and so very difficult. But 14 at TPC Southwind ends up playing harder.
That's right. Yes, it absolutely does, and it's always a challenge. And I said last year that was a hole that I spent a lot of time at on I think it was Friday afternoon, and just kind of watching those groups come through and seeing how guys were attacking that green and seeing what they were trying to do with it. And it was really fascinating, and seeing some guys really struggle with it, and other guys not make it look easy, but saying, "Hey, let's get a par. We're very happy with a par, and let's get to the next hole." So
nothing wrong with par.
No.
Emiliano Grillo, number 70, and he's from Argentina. We've had an Argentinian winner back in 2015, and Fabian Gomez. But at the top, the names that are very familiar, and names that a lot of people can't wait to see. Scotty Scheffler won, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, and last year's 2023 U.S. Open winner at Los Angeles Country Club, Wyndham Clark. That's a big five.
Oh, yeah, it's a big five, and those are going to be the names that are going to have those big galleries around them, following them all weekend long, and hopefully that they come and play their A game, and we get some thrilling stuff over the weekend and into Sunday afternoon.
I know here for a distinguished college career, Ludwig Åberg from Sweden.
Yeah,
I don't want to scare anybody off, but we know what the weather forecast is.
Oh,
I don't know if he's ever had that kind of heat, even playing college golf at Texas Tech.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be hot, and so that's a guy.
He's like me. He's very fair skinned.
Very, and I remember watching. I don't remember if it was Texas Tech that made the video or if it was somebody else, but it was him, and it was kind of his off season practicing and stuff like that. And he's in Sweden, and Brett, it's like 3 inches of snow, maybe more, and he's playing around 18 by himself and just doing it like it's nothing, and that's just every day to him. So you're right, this heat, that might hurt him over the weekend.
And here's our forecast for tournament dates. Thursday, high 96, low 76, 0% chance of rain. Friday, 96 and 77. Saturday, 93 and 74. Some cloud cover on all 3 of those days. 91, 72. I'm sorry, 93, 74 on Saturday. 91, 72 on Sunday. With a little bit of a north breeze on the weekend, but it's not named north wind. It's named south wind. And that's what you get in Thursday and Friday.
That's right. Yes. No, it could definitely be worse. We were talking about it last week. Of it isn't going to be the hottest, but it's going to be warm, and so
now how about this in the forecast for Friday? During the day, partly cloudy.
Okay.
A shower or storm is possible.
Love that.
There's a lot of things that are possible,
Sure.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, plenty possible.
I mean, we can do college football picks this year and go, well, they could win or they could lose, or possibly it could be a blowout or a close game.
Yeah. When next week when we start doing our wins and losses,
Come on, tighten the forecast up a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna get to Arkansas and say I think they're gonna be possible
11 and 12 and 0.
Exactly. Yes, could happen. Maybe, but no. Yes.
Well, what's the possible?
Yeah, I know.
I
Weather.
need more definition, don't you?
A little bit more. I want it, especially week up. I need him to
Brad,
fine
we're
tune that down.
We're going to get you a direct line to Run Childers. we got to get you a direct
line. You got it, call it.
We got to get you a direct line.
Tell you cut the possibility out.
Yeah, what are we doing possibly? We gotta have absolutes around here.
One thing that's not possible is that weather you describe Ludwig practicing in.
No, thank you.
I swear, though.
Forget the snow.
I swear, though, I heard on a weekend forecast, it was Saturday and Sunday morning early was really nice, cool.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard one of the weather forecasters, not at your place, Derek, one of them said, you may need a jacket.
Brad.
And I thought, if you need a jacket, you will freeze to death this winter.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
If you needed a jacket Saturday and Sunday morning,
we're still in August now.
You ain't got a prayer at the Liberty Bowl.
No. Certainly not. You always say rain finds this building in Southwind, cold finds Liberty Bowl. Day of game,
you can count on it.
Finds it. Absolutely.
Thermometer's plunging.
Yes, it absolutely is. Well, we need to get to a break. I know we got a winner for those tickets.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned. Tomorrow we're going to give away more tickets for Wednesday. So if you didn't win today, don't worry. Make sure you tune in tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be giving away some more tickets for Wednesday's Pro-Am. But let's go ahead and grab that break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Burgess. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Burgess Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
The best golfers on the PGA Tour are coming to Memphis to kick off the FedEx Cup playoffs at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news. Our coverage from TPC Southwind and Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Also sponsored by Sissy's Log Cabin, First National Bank, Ronnie Grisani's, Banyan Tree Realtors, DeSoto Honda, Jim's Place, and South Haven Supply.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder
compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or business online at brianellerroofing.com. Genesis Diamonds' most extreme values on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA certified diamond ring. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and the response has been incredible. People have driven for hours to buy like a dealer buys. All Genesis GIA certified diamond rings are on sale. A full 20% discount off Genesis' already amazing everyday value price. I'm talking about values you never thought possible. From a half carat to 20 carat diamonds, all handpicked for maximum brands and all graded by the most prestigious gem lab in the world. Genesis has the largest GIA diamond selection you've ever seen. Rounds, ovals, radiants, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts, everything you can think of. Now through Sunday, you can take advantage of this rare buying opportunity on the most gorgeous rings. Limit one per customer, please. Get the Genesis No Middleman direct importer price, minus an extra 20% on all GIA diamond engagement rings. Now through Sunday, only at Genesis Diamonds. On Popular Perkins Extended. See store for details.
Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of cashew crunch, of heavenly hash, of turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking the bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby. At Jason's Deli, locations at Ridgeway in the Parkplace Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli, it's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We got a little bit less than 30 minutes left in today's show. And we got to talk about what's trending and plenty of things we could get to. I doubt we'll have enough time to get to all of it, but we did have some NBA news come out today. We now know what day 1 will look like on the NBA schedule, and we know some other games as well. Shams did a ton of reporting today on what the schedule will look like, and very interesting. Shams Charania, who works for The Athletic, broke the news on Pat McAfee's show, which is on ESPN. And as we know, Shams and Woj have a nice, friendly, but fierce rivalry with each other in terms of breaking NBA news. So I thought that was interesting. But
Woj must be on vacation.
He's got to be. I mean, where's Woj at? Woj letting somebody else break the
out
news?
of cell range.
Oh, man. Yeah, wait till he finds out.
That's a pretty cold move to do it on an ESPN platform and also a network partner of the NBA.
Yeah. And because I saw Shams tweeted it, and then I saw Pat McAfee, his people tweeted it out and was like, Shams on now, breaking the opening night schedule. And I was like, holy cow, that's interesting. But you might be right. Maybe he is on vacation or something, because I have not seen him tweet anything recently, and you would think he'd be all over it with some of this news coming out. So opening day, October 22nd, we'll have two games kicking us off. A Tuesday. Okay, interesting. We'll have Knicks at Celtics. That'll be the first game. And then Timberwolves at Lakers. So you've got, obviously, the champs. They'll have ring ceremony.
Stick it in Philadelphia's ear.
That's right. And obviously the Knicks, they think that next year that could be them with the moves they've made this offseason. And then that second game will be a really fun game. Timberwolves with Anthony Edwards, and obviously the Lakers with LeBron James. That will be a fun matchup for opening night as well.
Yeah, it will be. And that means that either Wednesday or Thursday night will be one of the two. Will be the Grizzlies opener. Don't know if it'll be home or road, but we will see about that. And I think we're going to get all that revealed latter part of this week.
Yeah, it feels like, especially with as much news that came out, because we also learned, and Shams reporting all of this, Klay Thompson, his first return trip to the Bay Area will be on November 12th.
That's a Tuesday night.
Oh, wow. That game makes sense. Tuesday night, that game will be on TNT, so that will be a big-time game. Milwaukee Bucks at the Philadelphia 76ers will start both those team seasons on October 23rd. That will be the first ESPN game of the season. And then we've got our NBA Finals rematch dates. Celtics and Mavericks will meet on January 25th in Dallas, and also on February 6th in Boston. So a lot of scheduling news coming out today from Shams.
I'll do credit to him, but now none of this is surprising that it's being leaked.
No.
When we really start getting into teams feeding things to favorable, friendly stuff is when we get like an odd date, like Friday, December 6th.
Oh, yeah.
You get a date for that. But I'm ready for the full reveal, and it is coming out kind of piecemeal right now, but it'll be a torrent as the week goes on.
Oh, it absolutely will be. And so,
question for both of you. Do either one of you have a problem with the Grizzlies not being on the Christmas day?
No. We talked about it at length. I do not. Darren, right now, whether it's fair or unfair, we've kind of been forgotten.
Totally forgotten.
And I didn't see anybody for Christmas out of the 10 teams, 7 from the West, 3 from the East, that really aren't more deserving, very much more deserving than the Grizzlies. The team that I would have a beef about, if I'm Oklahoma City, hey, what about us?
Okay.
How come not us in San Antonio, but Wemby, and the weekend didn't hurt him? He shuts up all the critics about why San Antonio.
Well, and that was kind of the story of the Olympics for me, was just pulling up France game, no matter if it was the first game or if it was gold medal game against USA, and going, this guy is incredible. I mean, he can just do everything on the court. He's so much fun to watch. He plays the game with an energy that is off the charts.
He's gained all those guys' respect.
Oh, and that's the other thing, is you could see as the tournament was progressing, him turning into more of a leader of that team. First game, it was kind of, especially in those exhibition games, it was kind of,
him at 30?
Oh, man, no chance. I can't even think about it. But he was awesome, and it just makes me remember, man, I mean, watching him with San Antonio this year,
all places for him to land.
Yeah,
last year at lottery.
Yeah, that's the one kicker, Brett, is it's got to be our friends down in San Antonio.
Going to be in our lap for the next 15 years.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna have to see him a ton. And even, you always hear after that first contract, he's going to get out of San Antonio. Where is he going to go? He's going to go to L.A. or, probably somewhere in the West. And
not after they offer him $450 million.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, they're going to lock
By
him
then,
up.
it'll be
Yes,
close to half a billion.
It will be. But, and certainly with him not being a U.S. guy, he doesn't care where he's playing at the end of the day.
Brian, I don't back off 1 ounce my criticism a year ago at this time for Steve Kerr and the job he did with the team in the Philippines. The team he had for the Paris Olympics, I'm glad that almost maybe out of the Philippines we decided we're going to get real serious about this. But he did accomplish it. He does deserve credit for getting it done with that team that I still submit the coach at Grahamwood Elementary could have won with. But he did. He got it done. And I bet he doesn't want to coach any more international teams.
Probably not.
I've done it.
Yeah, no, I've gotten the gold, and it was fun, but
and the criticism,
and certainly a ton of criticism. But yeah, no, I mean that's going to be
and now when he plays with Golden State against Boston, Jason Tatum wants to light him up over it.
Absolutely, he wants to.
And it's almost, is it really worth doing this?
Yeah, I mean he's going to want to drop 40, and
Jason Tatum's mom wants 50.
Definitely, and so I mean
she's really running hot.
She certainly is, and I don't blame her. I mean your son's at the Olympics and is riding the bench, and so I did like it. It's interesting because you've got. And very different players, but you got Jason Tatum and kind of all of the talk about him on the bench and everything, and then Tyrese Halliburton, he gets the gold medal and posts a picture on Twitter and says, "This is like when you're in a group project and you don't do any of the work, but you get an A." And so
he enjoyed the ride.
A free trip to Paris and. Being around those great guys. I mean, why not? I'd love it too.
And for all those guys. Training camp is like in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, I mean, not much of an off season.
That wasn't much of a vacation.
No, not at all. Now,
for most of them.
Brett, maybe and Dakins, maybe as well. When they fly back on the team flight, obviously they're not getting dropped off individually. Where do they go when they're coming back? Because then they have to go from that plane to, like, let's say the Laker guys.
I'd bet on JFK or Newark. And you're on your own from there.
And you're on your own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good question. That's
maybe split the difference in O'Hare, but after that, good luck, fellas.
Yeah, have fun.
Get home the best way you can from here.
Oh, no, you're right. That is that's a good question. But, I mean, it was fun over the weekend, and you're right. I mean, the question now for the next 4 years is going to be, what is that 2028 roster going to look like, and who's the coach of it going to be? Because, I don't know if Kerr's going to want to do that again.
All right, Brian, I don't mean to lay it out in such matter-of-fact, yes or no, black or white terms.
Okay.
But if John Morant is on the 2028 U.S. Olympic team in Los Angeles as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies, that means it's been special times between now and the next almost 4 years.
Definitely. And I think,
if he's not, what does that say?
It certainly won't be as special, but I think you can still have successful teams with him not making
I don't think we've won a title if he's not on that team as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies.
No. But
I don't know that we've played in the NBA Finals. If he's rewarded with that, but he hadn't won that.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, and that's the interesting thing, because I could definitely see him being on the team and them not reaching those, but still, him being electric and the team being really good.
I think his status on again, I sure wouldn't want anybody to have to go through this. If you just somehow dropped off the information world or in the proverbial sports coma, and you wake up roughly 4 years from now, give or take a month, and he's on that team as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies, then the Grizzlies have had unparalleled historic success. If he's not, and he's on another team, then it's been rugged.
Well, certainly the other team part of that is definitely right, because I think
it's my Walter Nolan theory about Ole Miss.
Yeah,
if you watch next year's draft and he goes in the first 10 picks, Ole Miss had a big year.
Certainly.
if he's fourth-round pick, it wasn't much to it.
Certainly, no.
Or he may have sadly been injured.
Yeah, no, that's a good one, and you're certainly right about Walter Nellen. But I mean, we talked about it yesterday or a couple weeks ago, Brett, when we tried to predict our 2028 rosters, and you had John Morant on your 2028 roster, and I didn't, and I said it had nothing to do with John Morant or what I
Jeff
think
Goodman did.
I saw Jeff Goodman in. There's been a lot that have had them, and then I've seen others that don't have them on there. And so I just think, it's first off, it's hard to even predict 2028, but second off, there's just so many talented guards in this league and young guards that,
I think mine was identical to Jeff Goodman's.
Was it really?
Yes.
Wow. How about that? Great minds think alike, Brett.
Well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Well, yes, you're definitely a much brighter mind than Jeff Goodman.
No, I'm giving him credit.
Oh man, no, but I'm excited. I mean, the hype I think that is going to build to next time we have the Olympics with the Grizzlies with John Morant. I think it's going to be special.
The last 10 days did so much for patriotism.
Sure, absolutely.
For being proud of our country and our team and what 2028 in Los Angeles can be. Talking about growing the sport, it did.
Oh, yeah. No, and I was watching, especially those basketball games where, I mean, in swimming as well. Swimming was another big one where you just have these arenas jam-packed with the French fans and the French citizens, and they're chanting and cheering and everything for French. And the whole time I was thinking of 2028 when this is in LA, this is going to be special to watch, and just the patriotism that's going to be going on when it's here, when it's in the United States. So it was definitely fun watching it, and I'm definitely looking forward to here in 4 years when we have it in LA. But we need to go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no-obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
The best golfers in the world are coming to Memphis for the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news and talking with the players and officials. Our coverage of TPC Southwind on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Carterville. Also Also sponsored by Town Village Auto and Park, Wilson's Power Wash, Wade Incorporated, North Mississippi John Deere dealer, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and Jason's Deli.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their valuable tools, but to protect their professional reputations. For pros, the WeatherGuard badge makes a statement about what drives them. It says, "Bring it on. Been there. Done that. We've got your back," without saying a word. And the folks at WeatherGuard, they're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. See what it means to be driven at weatherguard.com.
If you're looking to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees, then Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, Arkansas is the place for you. At Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, you can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and is now available to everyone. A membership is $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar, all less than 15 minutes from downtown and midtown Memphis. Meadowbrook Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on and Cleveland clubs. If golf isn't for you, try the social membership for only $250 a month. And there's 2 levels of all-inclusive junior memberships, $20 to $29 for $200 a month and $30 to $34 for $250 a month. Call for your tee time today at Meadowbrook Country Club, 870-394-4186. Now semi-private Tuesday through Sunday. Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, 870-394-4186.
One of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health, provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, and this story actually just came out within the last hour, and it's been kind of the talk of the day from the Olympics. It happened last week in gymnastics. Jordan Childs, who is a United States athlete, she performed last week. She scored really well, but at first they gave her a score. I think a girl from Romania, maybe it was, she got bronze.
Anna from Romania.
They hand her the bronze medal. USA says, actually, we want y'all to look at that again. They say, okay, we'll look at it. They looked at it. They say, actually, Jordan Childs, you're the winner. I know a lot of people were mad about that they changed it that late. They give it to Jordan Childs, and now over the weekend they said, actually, Jordan, we've noticed that it took y'all longer than the allotted time, which is only like a
1 minute.
One minute. It took y'all longer than the allotted time by 4 seconds to put in your complaint. We are taking your gold medal and we are giving it back to Anna. Is that correct?
Anna, yes,
Anna
from
Romania. So now the United States gymnastics team has put in a plea, a request to give her back the bronze.
They threw the red flag, basically. They're challenging.
Exactly. And it just came out within the last 40 minutes. Jordan Childs' case won't be considered. The Court of Arbitration for Sports tells USA Gymnastics. So she will not get her bronze medal. It will go to Anna from Romania. But chaos and controversy to end the Olympics in terms of gymnastics, of course.
Brian, may I combine what I learned with what I also could have done without into one?
Brett, please, be my guest.
Well, what I have learned is, boy, people go through these ballots of these AP voters, and Ole Miss Twitter is really mad at Chris Murray with the Nevada something or another.
Shout out Chris.
He voted Ole Miss 15.
Wow.
Who gives a rip? Don't attack this guy. Go win games. Yeah. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I've never liked that of fan bases who go after, Ole Miss is great example, beat writer from Nevada, and that he had you too low.
He'll be right or wrong.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, he probably doesn't know everything that you know about Ole Miss football, and it's okay that he has
all the people of we were voted 17 when we really should be 15.
That's right. Yes. Oh, yeah. That's the worst. AP voting gets crazy, and the reactions get even crazier. Brett, what I could have done without has got to be the ending of the golf tournament this weekend and Matt Kuchar's decision to say, you know what? It's too dark out here. I cannot finish my round. This is ridiculous. And saying, I'm done. I'm stopping. He's already out. He wasn't going to make the cut to get here to Memphis. He had to have won the tournament to be able to qualify.
He can't spend all the money he's made on tour.
Exactly. And so I saw a bunch of videos come out. I'm like, there's plenty of light to finish this one hole. He decided that he was going to say, I'm done for the night. I'll be back here tomorrow morning to finish my last hole. Ridiculous. Made all these people come back.
No impact on him coming to Memphis.
Nothing.
First time ever he's missed the FedEx Cup.
That's
first
incredible.
round
I didn't know that. But his season's done. He could have just said, you know what, fine, either let me finish this or I'm done. I'll take the WD, whatever. Bad into the season. We'll see you next year. But no, he had to come back out here, make a whole show, and finish one hole this morning.
Yep. He had kind of the hole and one instead of hole in one. I could have done without all the boohooing over the first AP poll. People, please, go win games. First AP poll, 1936, and I mentioned the top 10 then. Minnesota 1, Duke 2, Army 3, Northwestern 4, Purdue 5, USC 6, Notre Dame 7, Washington 8, Pitt 9, Yale 10. Now, if somebody had voted that in 2024, you need to be attacking them.
Then we have a problem, yes. Where are you beaming tonight?
Dodgers with Clayton Kershaw at Milwaukee with Freddie Peralta pitching for the Brewers. 69-49 for the Dodgers, 67-50 for Milwaukee. $240 million payroll for the Dodgers against $115 for the Brewers. And the Brewers have a bigger lead in their division than the Dodgers.
Wow, that's a good one. Being me, I'll go to the same state as you. Braves and Giants tonight. Blake Snell versus Chris Sale. I know the Braves have been struggling. All of these injuries have really gotten them. But if they can win behind a pitcher, Chris Sale's going to be the guy that they can do it behind. But that's all the time we have. Should be a really, really fun night of Major League Baseball. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Genesis Diamond's most extreme value on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA diamond ring.
Response has been incredible. People have driven for hours to buy like a dealer buys. All GIA certified diamond rings are on sale. A full 20% discount off Genesis' amazing everyday value price.
Talking values you never thought possible. 5-carat to 20-carat diamonds. All the maximum values and all the prestigious geometric.
Don't be surprised to see jewelry stores and diamond dealers shopping alongside you.
Genesis has the largest jewelry diamonds you've ever seen. Precision cuts, pear-shaped, emerald cuts.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village
call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy. The FedEx St. Jude Championship, August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama at 70.